Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and it's Thursday, so if anybody wants to let their hair down a little bit, crack one open with me, you know that we're always about that. But coming up here live on today's show, we're going to get into the latest around Patrick Graham. We're going to talk about Kliff Kingsbury. We're going to get into an in-depth look here on my updated OC candidate rankings. Last week, I put out a list of my top 10 offensive coordinators for the Las Vegas Raiders, but at that time, we only knew that Antonio Pierce was the head coach. So what I figured I had to do today is give an updated list now that we know that Tom Telesco is the brand new general manager. And on top of that, we got a lot more candidates that are out there. So what I decided to do is rank all of the official OC candidates that are coming in for an interview. And I'm going to rank them from worst to the person that I want the most. Also, we are going to even get into more Kliff Kingsbury rumors because where there's smoke, there is fire. We have over 700 people here in the building. And if you haven't already, Queen Sarah Otto, she's going to combine you. You better hit that like button. So, where's you watching from right now? Where's the nation at? I know that we spread far and wide, so if you could, give me a shout out in your city. Right now, Jeremy Jugs and I, we are located in Dallas, Texas. We're going to be out in Las Vegas for Super Bowl week. And if you don't already know, Ahern Hotel, look it up, February 11th, Super Bowl 58 watch party. It's going to be an absolutely legendary experience. So I was talking to a Raider fan the other day from London. It wasn't even Martin. It was somebody else. I know I got a lot of people from the East Coast, people that watch Wasted, got people from Cali. All over the world, 800 people here. Where are we watching from, y'all? Howell, Nebraska from Christian. Will Thompson, Santa Cruz. Mesa, Arizona from Carl. Stockton, California. Coming at you from Idaho Falls, Idaho Falls. Matt Queen, sorry. Conan, Gordon, PA. I'm from PA. What's up? 570. Houston, Texas from Adrian. Jeremy's doing that. Victoria from L.A., Tal Business in Oakland. Spread love. I see you. I appreciate you very, very much. Now, unfortunately, the Raiders aren't in the playoffs, and I hope that someday AP and Telesco can get us back to commitment to excellence, back to just win, baby. But one of the things that I do like to talk to you guys about here on the Raiders Report is I like to call it bar talk, right? When we thought of the entire idea of what the Raiders Report is going to be, it's going to be around the idea of just like you and your best friends sitting down at a bar, like you and your friends sitting down on the couch, watching a game, and just having good, healthy football conversation. I know that the Niners are not a popular team here on this channel, which I don't blame y'all at all. I want the Lions to get this win. But the way that I want you to answer this is don't answer this with your heart, because I know we're going to get a bunch of L's. I want you to answer this one with this up here. Who you got? NFC Championship game, Lions-Niners. And if anybody was wondering, the answer is yes. Jeremy Jugs and I, we will be live for this game. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. Going to have some cool giveaways, and we are going to be cheering on the Detroit Lions in a... this is the game. I want the Lions to win more, but I want the Chiefs to lose more, if that also makes sense. Like, if you told me out of Niners and Chiefs that both went to the Super Bowl, I would rather the Niners win that football game. But as I can see down below, Joe, Duvall, Matt Queen, C. Villa, Joe Gatlin, King Shav, all typing those L's, and then Giovanni Bay. I appreciate the honesty. You're not going to get very far in life unless you're an honest person. Giovanni Bay, typing that 4. Somebody who is an absolute legend, a part of the Silver and Black Hills. Mr. Scheffler. What's up, my man? AP had me so hyped. I'm ready for the season already. Put me in, coach. I'll run through that brick wall. Honest to God, when AP started talking, and no disrespect to Tom Telesco, he was throwing out a lot of ums, and I got a little bit nervous about it.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, he was umming quite a bit, and it was funny. He's a nervous person. He's speaking in front of a crowd. If you're not used to doing that, even if you are used to doing it, it's probably an unsettling feeling. But the amount of ums he was throwing out, I just saw the chat just kind of ripping him a little bit. And that's more just because of Josh McDaniel. Let's give Telesco a little bit of a break. But the difference between when Telesco was talking compared to when AP talked, like, I actually got chills. And then when he yelled Raiders, I do have to give the media team a little bit more credit because this time around, they actually yelled it with him instead of just that one random woman who was by far the loudest. But, Chef, if you guys got chills, and I mean this, like, If you got chills, if you got that, I want to run through a brick freaking wall feeling when Antonio Pierce was talking, let's get some APs down below. Chef, been talking a lot to Mount Raider more. I think coming up here in a month, maybe next month of February, you're going to get a nomination for something that I think you've been wanting for quite some time. Let's go to Oscar. What's up, man?
Hey, yo!
Bring in Kingsbury. We're going to talk about Kliff Kingsbury today. He's obviously one of the top candidates to be the next offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders, but is he the best candidate? Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been a lot of reports around it, and I'm going to take a little bit more of a deep dive look at whether or not the Raiders should hire the quarterback coach for the USC Trojans. So, Oscar, I see you. I know a lot of people want Kliff. I also see a lot of people down there showing love for AP. I mean, I felt like the Kool-Aid man. At any moment, I was going to run through that freaking wall.
You were saying it's Thirsty Thursday today.
It is Thirsty Thursday today.
I'm trying to get a little wild. Mitch is trying to get a little wild. So here are the deals. Obviously, any super chat, you get up on the show, ask us any Raiders questions, whatever you want to say.
Correct.
We are trying to get a Marshall versus Rebel boot race.
In person, in Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
So Tuesday when we were live here on the show, Rebel kind of made a joke around the idea of, like, for those that don't know, the biggest rivalry on this Raiders Report show is Marshall and then Rebel, okay? Essentially what our bosses said is if we get enough people to raise some money here to take Marshall to Las Vegas, then we're going to be able to have Marsh at our Super Bowl watch party, and it's going to be Marsh versus Rebel live boot race. So here's my deal to the nation. If you want this to end up happening, I got a boot right here. There are a few slots on it. If you send in a 50, I'm going to write your name. We're going to write your initials. We're going to put the date on it. And then this is going to be the boot that we take out to Vegas. And then we are going to give this boot to somebody in person. I would love for it to happen. I want it to happen for Rebel because I'm not going to lie. Marsh has been sweating. He's been sweating about it.
Is Rebel in the building?
I don't know.
He better be there.
Die Hard said he can't hang.
I'll be wearing black. I'll wear some black gear. Maybe I'll wear someone's jersey.
There you go.
Maybe someone
I'll tell you this. You got to wear Rebel's jersey.
If Rebel's there,
you got to wear Rebel's jersey.
I'm wearing Rebel's jersey.
All right, so bottom line is I would love for this to happen. So essentially, give me two spots for David Zahn. Bye! Zahn wants two.
Chef, I'm going home. I'm going to Vegas. That's my second home.
Zahn, we're adding you. We're going to put you right here in the front, Zahn. Mount Raider Moore legend, David Zahn.
Zahn. We always say, go home, Marshall. Well, he hasn't been able to go home because he hasn't been able to go home to Daddy. We got to reunite Marshall with his daddy.
There is nothing I want to see more go down than a Marshall Rebel boot race. I've seen Rebel do a boot. You're in trouble. I'm just telling you.
Practice starts this week.
There you go. 2-a-days. Get on it right now. Shout out to David Zahn.
Zahn, you're the man, brother. We love you, dog. He says we love Marsh. I knew Zahn was one of them ones. That's my guy.
Oh, dude. Unfreaking believable. What's up, Mr. Zahn? If you guys want to shout out here on the Raiders Report, spam Zahn down below. I see Agent Red, Mr. Scheffler, Mr. Zahn, Ronnie Hustle, Will Thompson, David Somers, Matthew Y, Sienna Colley. All love to all of y'all. Jeffrey said, if I was going to be in Vegas, I would send money for Marsh to stay home. What's up, Dynas? My brother right here. It's been a minute. It's been a while since my last Super Chat. You guys are kicking ass. Stoked for what this season brings.
It's been a while
since
I've been.
I'll tell you what, man. Like, when you really think about the last time you and I talked in person was before this season? No, it was before the first year of Devontae Adams and all the hype around the team. To me, like this offseason right now, with how I think that we are going to construct our team via free agency, via the draft, and really, really hoping that we're able to land that franchise quarterback, I'm stoked. I am super stoked to see what ends up happening here for this team. And now that the AFC West got better with Jim Harbaugh, like, let's keep it real here. The AFC West is loaded. You got Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid. Those three coaches are more than likely going to be in the Hall of Fame, right? Like, Harbaugh's definitely going to go in the College Football Hall of Fame. No? You're looking at me weird.
Harbaugh to the College Football Hall of Fame, you think?
He won a natty. What do you mean?
Yeah? I didn't know if one natty was enough.
I mean, he's won a lot of football games.
Yeah. I didn't know if he was there long enough. I mean, he was there from what?
Again, maybe I don't know enough about college football, but I thought he was a lock.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I didn't know he was a lock. Petey's looking at me weird, so maybe I'm the weird one.
Maybe. He also has to sit next to a guy that's got a keyboard split in half, so anything's possible. What up, Phil?
Phil Hunt. We actually hear from your brother Mike a lot.
Wow, yes. Speaking of Phil says, you know what? I'll take one. Go Raiders. Another one for the Marsh Fund.
Phil Nye, the Raiders guy.
Phil Nye, the Raiders guy. I'll make you guys a deal. If we fill out every single decal on this boot, as soon as that happens, I'm doing a boot.
Once we get to 500 today, which we're 300 away, I'm doing a boot.
Oh, you're getting frisky.
Yes.
A little frisky. I like it.
Boots on a Thursday.
Dude, I'll tell you what. There's nothing that gets you going to the weekend quicker than a few boots, a few beer bongs. Don't worry, we're going to get into all the supers. We're going to get into all the questions. But we will also get into so much more content. But as always, if you guys want to get a little wet and wild, we can always get a little wet and wild. What up, Raiders 805? Hooray! Raiders! I hope it's Kliff. I worked at Cal Poly, where Madden went to college. They are building a facility in his name. I mean, I'll tell you what, that's got to be an unbelievable... if you're going to name a building after the great John Madden, it's got to be a spectacle. You know what I mean? It can't just be... it's got to be an absolute spectacle. To me, Kliff Kingsbury is one of the better candidates out there for the Las Vegas Raiders. And if he ends up being the OC, to me then, if he's going to be the OC, you better find a gunslinger at QB. You got to make it happen. You can't have Aiden O'Connell and Kliff Kingsbury.
I hope Cal Poly has, an esports team, and the esports arena is the Madden, Madden Bowl.
That would be cool. I feel though, if you had Kliff Kingsbury and you rolled with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback, that's like putting Jeff Gordon in a Prius. You gotta.
You love shitting on Priuses.
Well, Prius is the one car. It's because of the movie, which the other guys. You drag race with the Prius. I don't win a lot. Josh T, I previously said Tommy T had a face you want to punch. After that press conference, I take it back. To me, we got to give Telesco a little bit of time. If he can make it happen, then, hey, he can end up making it happen. Matt Fluhey! Bang! Fluhey said, give me two. He wants the race between Marshall.
2 claps for Fluhey.
I got my hands full. What do you want me to do? If I clap my hands right now, I'm bleeding. I'll tell you that. I'm bleeding. Matt Fluhey.
Let's get it started in started in here.
I'll tell you what, Fluhey's been catching Abgen.
All right.
Fluhey's getting close.
I want to see if we can set a record for the most Matts ever typed in a Raiders live show. I'm going to say the last part of this.
Okay.
And we have 1,000 people. Can we get 1,000 Matts by the time I scream Raiders?
1,000 Matts.
1,000 Matts in the comment section while I scream Raiders.
All right, hang on. Let me get in there too. It's got to be a team effort. All right, hang on a second here. 1,000. So the game is you're going to say Raiders, and as long as you can hold it, we got to get 1,000 Matts.
Yes.
All right. Come on. My fingers are bleeding. Oh, dude, that's impressive. I'm not gonna. That's very impressive. Yeah, check your pulse.
Oh wait.
Yeah, make sure you stay hydrated after something like that. Yo, man, for real, though, I have a lot of fun doing this show. We joke around. We do a lot of shenanigans. It is what it is. David, Jose Delgado, Alex Rubio, Joe Gatlin, Raider Dave. I got Nat and Kat, Stephen Willett, and FCOPS. Shout out to all of y'all. Dylan Erickson, you're next up here on the Raiders Report. How would you rank the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft if paired with Kliff? I love this question here. If I'm going to pair it with Kliff, I think you also, though, have to do, if we're going to go this scenario, it's got to be with Kliff and AP, right? Based on that, overall, my favorite quarterback in this year's draft is still Drake May. Like, to me, I think May is going to be the best QB in the class. Like, the reason why I'm so confident is he can play in structure. He can play out of structure. He has a hell of an arm. He's a good athlete, but he's got it up here more than everybody else. The way that I think, though, it ends up going for the Raiders, if paired with Kliff, I would say Caleb, Jaded, and then Drake May. And in all honesty, of how I think that they would evaluate the quarterbacks. Because to me, and I said this a week ago, when Caleb Williams declared for the NFL draft, I'm always a big believer, and sometimes in the NFL, it's a small world, and if you follow certain rumors, if you follow reports, if you follow tea leaves, you can kind of pick up on the bigger story. And I did find it very intriguing that a report came out that the number 1 candidate for the Raiders was Kliff Kingsbury. This was way before the Raiders put in an interview. And then a few hours later, Caleb Williams declares for the NFL draft, right? So it's like, sometimes when I see things like that, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's one of those things. You just store back here.
Fire.
Bingo. Real Cowboy, what is the world record time to drink a beer boot? I bet Chugs can break it.
I think I own the record.
I mean, I'll tell you this. Has anybody ever seen somebody drink 3 beers? You're like, I've seen you do 6.5 seconds. I mean, that is just, I remember, my record is 14.9.
Well, we're $150 away from me trying to break it again.
How about this? If we get 3 50s, 50, 50, 50, that's 3 that goes to the Marsh Rebel Boot Fund for the race out in Vegas, and then Chugs has to do a boot. I think that's a hell of a deal.
Phil! Matt!
What's up, Phil? Phil's been balling out today already. I love it.
I've got a deal.
Marshall, I guess, has a deal now.
All right.
We're a deal-making company. What do you got for me?
I don't know what prices are on the Raiders report here these days, but if someone sends in, if this is too much, let me know. I'm doing a boot for a $200 super chat. I don't know if that's allowed, but I would do that. I got to get my reps in. I'm a little scared.
I mean,
of the big bad Rebel Montana.
When was the last time you did a boot, legitimately?
You did
earlier this last week on the Knicks
I was
show.
like, I thought you did it on
boots on Knicks.
All right, I'm just saying, Rebel's a
200.
different.
I'm doing a boot.
200.
I'm doing a boot.
Rebel's a different cat, though. Like,
what do I have to do to race Jeremy Chugs?
Oh, well, we're 150 away from me doing a boot.
If we get there,
how about if we get to 600?
that's fine.
So an extra 100.
A 200 is 200's good. Is that bad price? I think that's fair.
That's fine.
That's
200.
fair. 200.
200. You guys do a boot race. Done.
200. We're boot racing.
Barber Jasper, what's up, my man?
10-second head start.
Also, Barber, I've been checking out a lot of your video, or been appreciating all the messages you've been sending in to me on IG. I appreciate you having my back, man.
We're 50 away.
If you were the general manager for the Raiders, would you sign Russell Wilson or trade for Justin Fields if none of the top quarterbacks are available? Risk it with Russell. He's a proven QB. I would say this. If you can get Justin Fields for a second or third, I would rather go that route because to me, he's not going to be a locker room distraction. Russell Wilson, though, the only way I'm bringing him in is if he's willing to sign for the vet min at $1.21 million, which I do think is a possibility. If you want to see that scenario laid out, I put out a video about 2.5 weeks ago of why the Raiders should at least entertain the idea of signing Russell Wilson once he is cut by the Denver Broncos. Run away, Jet!
Bang! I'll take 2 and want to send a happy birthday shout out to my pops.
Get those
Jesse
vocal
the
cords
Jet
ready.
Hester. Can he get a Raiders? Let's go.
Jeremy.
We're 50 away now
We
from
are
a boot race.
From a freaking boot race right now. Also, everybody spam HBD down below, and you got to sing it. We got to sing it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jesse the Jet Hester. Happy birthday to you.
I'm just happy Runway didn't make me do 200 jumping jacks this time. That was, I'm not kidding you, I was sweating in way too many places. It was uncomfortable. Runaway Jet says, I want to see a boot race.
We're 50 away now because Nathan.
What's up,
Wolf.
Nathan? Let's do it.
I normally go to Vegas for championship games, but may have to go for the Super Bowl. Love to have a cold one with you, boys. Let's go and drive in. Let's go.
Mount Raider more.
Load them up.
Load it up, Buttercup. Load it up, Buttercup. How many people are going to be out in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl? Honest question. If you're going to be in Vegas for Super Bowl weekend, let me know. I want to see some LVs down below. I want to be able to hang out with as many people around the nation as possible. My dad's going to be out there. Jeremy and I are going to be out there. Will Marshall get to go to Vegas? I don't know yet. I do not know yet. We'll see. I'm hoping, because I'm telling you what, a Rebel and Marshall boot race, shit would be electric. Shit would be electric.
Should be actual fire.
Actual fire. Patrick B, Telesco, and AP are definitely on the same page. It was obvious watching the presser. AP has brought swagger back to the team that invented swagger. And yeah, what I loved about the press conference, and probably one of my favorite things that happened, was AP throwing a few jabs at Telesco, talking about like the Jack Jones interception, talked about obviously them dropping 63 and how he wanted to go for 70. But like, that's the type of stuff that you need, right? Like, and think about your best friend. Think about a really, really good friend that you have that you legitimately want to spend time with, right? Like, I'm not talking about a coworker. AP and Telesco are coworkers right now, but you're not going to get anywhere in life, especially in the NFL, unless you have like that friendship type of bond. And AP throwing the jabs that he did at Telesco made me feel like that is the type of friendship, like that's the type of relationship that a really good team needs to have. Zon, pairing Kliff Kingsbury with Aiden is like taking a Pinto on the Autobahn. I've been on the Autobahn.
I have not.
It's fun. Ray, give me your take. Trade DA with future picks or second draft. What is that? So you're saying future picks first or second round draft, then traded up to 13 to draft Malik Neighbors for a little bit of speed at wide receiver. I mean, if you're going to trade up to take Caleb.
Oh, I think he's saying Devontae Adams and your first and second next year to go up to one, which I don't think will be enough to get Caleb. And then he's saying draft Malik at 13 this year.
Yeah, I would say it would be Devontae Adams on top of your first and second round pick in the next two drafts is probably what it would end up costing, in all honesty. Maybe your first and second this year, your first round pick next year, and Devontae Adams to go up and get Caleb. And then if you could get Malik Neighbors, the problem is I don't think Neighbors is there at 13.
You know who I would trade up to get? Justin Abjad Bay! All right, I'm going to go load up the two boots.
Get the boots going. Get the boots going.
And we get maybe we get some C's. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see what the people think.
Probably not. Who you got? Chiefs, Ravens, Chugs, Marshall boot race coming up here. And remember, every 50 that we get, or if you want to donate 100, we'll get 2 spots into that on our boot here because I am going to do this once it's totally filled. But essentially, every 50, or if you want to put in a 100, and if you want to put Marsh's name in it, everything that we get, that's going to go to our basically get Marsh to Vegas fund here because we're trying to do it. And right now, the reason why we got to do all this, I don't know if you guys looked on what it is, how expensive a flight, hotel, everything is to get out to Vegas for Super Bowl, which might not surprise some people. It's expensive. It's I was very, very taken away by it. But hey, is what it is. Who you got? We're going to be live for this game on Sunday here on the Raiders Report. Make sure you're tuned in. We're going to be giving away some FUKC jerseys. We got 1,100 people in the building. And on top of all that, we are getting ready here in a little bit to get into our OC candidate rankings after the boot here by Chugs. But let's give some shout-outs here to the peeps. Also, Otten says Tay is not going anywhere. I don't think Devontae Adams is going anywhere either. I think it's more the idea if you don't want to have to give up so much draft capital, do you decide to move on from a receiver that's 31 years old and then try to replace him with somebody like Neighbors, who is one of the top receivers in this year's class. Michael Thor, going to go with the Ravens. Save us Lamar from Romeo. I mean, Lamar, I really, really hope Lamar brings his A game because he's going to need it. Eric M. showing some love. I got KO. What's up? What's up? Agent Red, Jaden Nunez, Nick. We got Jason Childers, S62_Oos, Mad Vet Raider, Heat Blaze, Moses Tadashi, Matthew Sagers, the Fonz, and then a nice little F there, KC from Siena. Love it. Absolutely love it. Who you got? Type C for the Chiefs, or I want you to type R for Ravens. And you know what? I haven't made this announcement yet, but we are going to be doing a 50-50 raffle on today's show, and here's the catch. It's going to be a $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365, okay? And every 50 that comes in, we are going to add that to the Get Marshall fund. So somebody's going to win some money today, and then the other remaining we're going to put towards the Let's Get Marshall to Las Vegas fund. It's going to be interesting. What on earth is that? A warm Corona? Dude, that smells awful. I'm not going to lie to you. A warm Corona. I mean, are you going to wear a mask to drink that? Because, dude, I'll tell you this right now. I like Corona beer with a lime. I think straight Corona, it just tastes like, it just smells like what I mean, come on, let's just be real. Soon. Very soon, very soon. All right, y'all, if you want to get in, $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 for a shot to win a little bit of money, and then also it's going to be a little bit of a contribution to the Marsh Rebel Boot Race Fund. Fluhey! Matt Fluhey, you in twice. What? This is on Super Bowl Sunday.
Is this a pregame or a halftime?
Personally, I think it's like halftime of the Super Bowl.
That's kind of where I was leaning.
I mean, even if Rebel, if you want to do like the whole weigh-in, like face-to-face thing, like UFC style, dude, that would be sick.
Him and Marsh, nothing but tights. On a scale.
Nothing but a boot. Nothing but a boot.
Ready, Trucks?
All right, let's go. Who's doing this? Who you got? If you're going to go with Marshall, type M. If you're going to go with Chugs, type C. Marsh is rocking a Happy Dad boot. For those that don't know what a Happy Dad is, it is this.
Cheers, lads. Cheers, lads.
Happy Dad boot, and then Chugs has got his 2020 drink. So who you got? Chugs or Marsh? Boot race, and then after this, we're going to talk a little bit of some actual Raiders content.
Rebel Montana, what up, brother?
How long of a head start do I get?
Well, I think he said 10 seconds.
I think 10 seconds and I can
10 seconds?
I can compete.
All right, hey. I mean, I'm going to always put my money on Chugs here. I'm always going to put my money on Chugs.
This little breathing, little pregame he does.
What people don't know is his butthole does the same thing. It's the truth. I've seen it. It's kind of a little scary.
I thought there was a hole back there.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. For your
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to be close. I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to be close. I mean, it's disgusting sometimes. I'll tell you what. That was good. That was really good.
I'm coming for you, Rebel.
I'll tell you what, though. You know what? That's not as bad as what I thought. I mean, that's a clean race. That's a clean race right there.
First thing I've eaten today.
You're starting to sound like Rolly. Rolly, when he walked into work today, looked like Paper Mario. I mean, that's what happens when you don't eat for 3 days. But hey, is what it is. You all right? Your eyes are watering.
I'm feeling great.
I'm not going to lie. I could taste the Corona on your breath there. That was warm. I don't know what was warmer, the breath or the Corona. All right, man. We got 1,300 people here in the building. Shout out to all the real ones out there.
I'm coming. Are we putting money on this, Rebs? A little 2020? A little 2020?
I'm coming, Rebel. Are we putting money on it? I don't know what kind of coming we're doing here, but I'm getting a little nervous. How about this? You guys got to do a boot race, and the loser has to eat the cracker after what you just said. I don't know if you ever played that game. That's a whole nother game here. All right, man. We are 3 likes away from 420. If you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. And remember, if you want a chance to get in our 50-50 raffle, $50 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365. We're going to do it at the very, very end of today's show for a chance to win a little bit of the green. Not Marshall green, the Rebel green. 50-50 raffle if you want a chance to get in. Jeremy, are you ready to get this first show underway? I think I'm ready. You know what, though? How about this? 100 right now. I'm going to do my first beer bong, and I'm going to add 2 names to the boot. I'll do my first beer bong here. Everybody's been putting in for the funds, which is all good. I'm thirsty, though. Which one would you pick, though? I think all I have is grape and pineapple, which that's not good. Pineapple might be the worst one, so I feel I probably should do those last. Jose, Manny Aurora, Raider Marty, Zach, all here in the building. Before we get into this segment, who do you honestly want to be the Raiders OC? Because I feel like a lot of times when I do shows like this, I get people then, whatever I pick ends up going to be like the common answer, which that's fine. I love that people agree with me. I love that people, interact with me. But I think sometimes what happens, it maybe makes people not want to put in their vote. Like, this is me being real with y'all. We're going to agree. We're going to disagree a lot. Like, that's what friends do. That's what family members do. Like, that's what this thing is about here. It's about that honest conversation. So if you could pick who you want to be the OC for the Las Vegas Raiders, get those votes in right now. I'm also looking at the live poll, which we have 1,800 votes on. Kliff Kingsbury's got 79% of that. Zach Robinson's got 16%, and then there is a 5% of other. I'm seeing I got a lovely bunch of coconuts, says Kliff Kingsbury. Terry, Sienna are also getting their votes in here. Oh, man. Alonzo Crawford, you in. Alonzo Crawford, you in. I like it. And then, you know what? You know who else is in? Amy, you in. So right now, 4 people in. 4 people in for a chance to win. Though I better write these down before I totally don't remember. Alonzo, you in. And then Amy, you in. You in. Let's go to the Raider Ant. Does AOC and Trey Tucker remind you of Ruggs and Carr? Not really. I mean, if you want to say a statue at quarterback, that's, I mean, I think people think that I hate Derek Carr. It's not that I don't like Derek. I just think the Raider Nation always thought that he was a lot better than what he is. But DC is like light years better than what AOC was this past season. And then Ruggs is much better than Trey Tucker. I will admit, I'm very excited to see what Tucker turns into as an overall route runner, not just as a deep threat, because maybe the first years between Ruggs and Tucker were similar because they were both undersized. Ruggs didn't really run a complete route tree. He was really just north and south, and that's kind of what Tucker was. Though the one thing that I love that I saw with Tucker, and I wish they would have used it more, is a lot more of that pre-snap motion. But then on top of that, his separation was some of the best in the NFL. It's because teams respected the speed. And whether you can say what you want about Tucker, That guy is one of the fastest receivers in the NFL, and I think this year you're going to see them use him a lot more. Like, I don't want to say mini Tyreek, but he's been called mini Tyreek by his own teammates, one being Max Crosby. All right, y'all, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into our first segment here on the Raiders Report, which is going to be around OC candidate rankings. Oh, man. Jasper Barber, you in. Jasper Barber in, and then Phil Hunt, you in. So 6 people in. As it stands right now, winner would win $150. $50 Venmo for a chance to win $150. Phil Hunt in. Jasper Barber in. Jose Delgado in. Dude, this one's going to be a hefty one. I can already tell. This one's going to be a hefty one. I'm excited. Let me add him. Jose Delgado in. All right. All right, Jeremy. Let me crack one open here. Just gotta stay hydrated in these days. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get into it now. OC candidate rankings. And these are only, and I mean only, the people that have been officially confirmed to be getting an interview with the Las Vegas Raiders. Does that make sense? So it's not like the first video I did was just like overall candidates to at least keep in mind. This one is going to be strictly, and I do mean strictly, only people that have had interview requests given to them. Sound good? Chugs, you ready? All right, y'all. Coming up here on the show, OC candidate rankings here on the Raiders Report. 8 sleep, correct? And let me just confirm. Okay, let's get it going right now. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. How many people out there are thinking to themselves, I could probably use a little bit better sleep? I know I definitely could. If you're like me, go down to the comments, go down to the description right now. Check them out, 8sleep.com/chatsports for $200 off the pod cover. I'm telling you right now, it's going to change your freaking life. On today's show, ranking the Raiders OC candidates from worst to best. So if you haven't already seen, I put out a show earlier in the week about my Raiders OC candidates. Think about this one as the updated version of that. And the only candidates that you were going to see on this show are people that have been officially requested to interview with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I got to know a name. I need a name. I've been staying up late. Well, that is until I found 8 Sleep, because I've been wondering, who's going to be the Raiders OC? Who's going to be the Raiders quarterback? And who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? My answer is going to be the person that is ranked number 1 on this video. But obviously, I got to know what the nation has to say. Who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC this upcoming season to pair with Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce? If you're like, Mitch, well, give me some names here that I can throw around. I got you. It is Kliff Kingsbury, the USC quarterback coach / senior offensive assistant. Luke Getsy, former Bears OC. Zach Robinson, Rams pass game coordinator, quarterback coach. Alex Van Pelt, former Cleveland offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh quarterback coach. Thad Lewis, Tampa Bay quarterback coach. In total, 7 interviews requested. One of those was Dan Pitcher, quarterback coach for the Bengals. However, he was just hired yesterday to be the Bengals OC. So one of the candidates that the Raiders were going to interview out of their 7, he has already decided to take another job, which I'm not really too surprised about. He's got an opportunity to work with Joe Burrow. That sounds like a pretty good gig if you ask me. So other coaches that I at least want you to watch out for, keep an eye on. Arthur Smith is a name that I've been told to at least keep an eye on that the Raiders could potentially interview. Clint Kubiak would be Clint Kubiak on this list would be a guaranteed top 3. I'm telling you that right now. Kellen Moore, I'm just throwing out there because he has been a popular name for OC circles. I don't know if I would love the hire personally, but he does have that connection with Telesco. Byron Leftwich, the reason why Leftwich is getting a little bit of a nod here is because of his relationship with Tom Brady, and they won a Super Bowl together back in 2021. And then Eric Bieniemy. I don't think that Bieniemy would ever get the job because I've always talked about Fred Biletnikoff's daughter. Bieniemy's got some past things in his closet. But also, though, one of the things that Telesco said, and one of the things Mark Davis said of why Telesco got the job, was his inside knowledge of the AFC West. Bieniemy has a lot of inside knowledge of the AFC West. Here's my promise, though, to the nation. Once the Raiders hire an offensive coordinator, we will go live here on this channel. I don't want you to miss it. When we go live for breaking news that I'm trying to celebrate, man, there's nothing better. It is the closest thing that I feel like I can get to a Raiders watch party, a Raiders game day, an Oakland tailgate. We're going to talk about the move. We're going to have a good time while we do it. So please, once the Raiders hire an OC, tune in. We're going to have fun. Unless they hire number 6 here on my list. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go from worst, and we're going to go to the best in terms of who I want the Raiders offensive coordinator to be. Rolling in here at number 6 on my list of candidates is going to be Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh quarterback coach. And the reason why Sullivan is on this list is because I want the Raiders to have a fun and exciting offense. If you hire Mike Sullivan, I mean, there's a reason why Matt Canada got fired. Like, you want an offense that looks very similar to Josh McDaniels? Here you go. I will say, he's got a nice military background, and anytime somebody comes from the military, I know that they're going to be able to run a really tight ship. So he's coached and played at Army, coached in the NFL since 2002 on offense and on defense. However, in the most recent years, he's been on the offensive side of the football. He was OC for the Giants in 2015, where they were 6th in the NFL in points per game. However, after 1 year, which was pretty well documented, NFL teams started to figure out his offensive scheme. Then they were 26th in the NFL in points per game. This is kind of like near the back end of Eli Manning's career. But you go from 6 to 26 in a short amount of time, it's because teams figured them out. You ask any Steelers fan that you know, what do they think about Mike Sullivan? What do they think of that offense? They'll tell you. Believe me, they'll tell you. Let's go to number 5 here on my list. It is Luke Getsy, former Bears offensive coordinator. I personally thought that one of the reasons why they were going to bring in Getsy was because of the connection with Champ Kelly and some ties there with the former Bears regime, if you will. Getsy, though, he's been the OC for the Bears the last 2 seasons, lost his job this year when they decided to bring in a new head coach. He's been working in the NFL since 2014, and he's going to run the football a lot. Like, I know Antonio Pierce likes to run the rock, and Getsy, when you look at the Bears' rushing attack the past 2 seasons, they were number 1 and they were number 2 the past 2 years. However, they also were one of the worst passing teams in the NFL. I think Getsy would be a better quarterback coach / like running game consultant than he would an actual OC. I could see them at least just wanting to pick his brain about Justin Fields if that was an option. Like, the only reason why I would bring in Luke Getsy would be because I want to talk about Justin Fields here a little bit. But maybe you guys noticed we got a brand new sponsor here on the Raiders Report, and if anybody is like me and needs a better night's sleep, I need you to listen up right now. So today's episode is brought to you by 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling tech that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I love 8 Sleep because it has totally stopped my night sweats. I like to snuggle with my dog Chuck, but man, homie is like a heater. Thanks to 8 Sleep, I don't wake up sweating and get a better night's sleep. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allow you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just a month on the pod. Go to 8sleep.com/chatsports and get $200 off plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8 Sleep. Start the new year right and invest in the rest you deserve with the 8 Sleep pod. So, like, here's me being real with all y'all out there, right? When I sleep in bed, I want it to be as cold as humanly possible. When Alex sleeps in the bed, it's got to be a sauna. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, did I pee in the bed or something? Because I'm just sweating. And I'm a snuggler. I love Chuck. That's my guy right there. He's a big dog. He's 75 pounds. I like when he sleeps right here. He sleeps in between my legs. And I wake up 2-3 times in the middle of the night. Either he's getting up or I'm moving because I'm sweating. This is going to revolutionize the game for Alex and I. So if I start coming into work and I look, I'm wide awake, it's because of 8 Sleep. So we'll get started. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. Shout out to 8 Sleep for making me sleep a little bit better. Let's go to number 4 on the list. It is Thad Lewis, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback coach. And this is a up-and-coming guy where he's like 36 years old. I believe he's in his upper 30s, but he's one of these up-and-coming coaches. And I do have him ranked at number 4, but it's because I love number 1 and number 2 so much. But this is going to be somebody where I'm curious if I miss on him a little bit. He's been in the NFL as a coach, and he's been working his way up, but he played quarterback from 2010 to 2017. He's had 7 starts. On top of that, Duke grad, smart guy, regarded as a good teacher. One of the things that I want you guys to keep an eye out for, and one of the reasons why I love Patrick Graham when he got brought in, was because people said very intelligent and was regarded as a good teacher. One of the things that I know the Raiders are looking for in this time around and bringing in a lot of coaches is, are they good with players? Because you need to be a good players coach. Are you regarded as a good teacher, and how smart are you to be able to not only just be a coach, but you got to be able to explain what you're trying to do. Bucs QB coach this season and Tampa Bay's assistant wide receiver coach from 2021 and 2022. He's worked with a lot of good players. He's worked with Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Thad Lewis is number 4 on my list. Let's go to number 3 here. It's Alex Van Pelt, former Cleveland offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. I got to give Pelt a little bit of credit here because when they lost to Sean Watson, I think everybody, including myself, thought they're done. But you know what? Joe Flacco looked like a pretty darn good quarterback. I gotta give him some credit here. He's been the Browns quarterback coach from 2020 to 2023. He was also the Packers QB coach from 2014 to 2017. And if, let's say, you miss out on your top 2 guys that I'm about to show you, I'd be curious to see if they listen to somebody that has worked with Davante Adams in years past. I will admit the only time that he's ever been an offensive coordinator in the NFL was back in Buffalo, and they averaged 16.1 points per game. That was 28th in the league. That was a very, very long time ago. To me, though, Pelt's going to want to run the rock, right? Like, I'm really going to be curious to see what direction the Raiders go in with their offense, and based off some of the things that Antonio Pierce said at his intro presser, makes me believe I know which route that they're going to go. But if you want to run this, like, smash mouth style of football where you decide to bring back Josh Jacobs, you want to run a more conservative offense overall, guess what? That's going to be very, very, very interesting. Yeah, I know. Also, totally not Raiders-related, breaking news, the Falcons, they just hired Raheem Morris, in case you're wanting to be their next head coach. So let's keep on talking about the top coordinators, but before we get into my top 2, I do want to tell you all that Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be out in Las Vegas doing a Super Bowl 58 watch party. I need the nation to pull up. If you're wondering where, it's at the Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel. Here's the address. The party's going to get started at 2 p.m. Pacific time. February 11th, we're going to have food. We're going to have drink deals. It's going to be absolutely electric. And if you love what Chuggs and I do here on YouTube, well, then you're going to love what we do in person. And I'm just telling you right now, I want all of y'all to show out, bring your family, bring your friends, as many people as we can pack in here. It will be first come, first serve. But as you can see, it's going to be a full bar. And I'm just telling you, we're going to have really, really awesome drink deals. People are going to be sending stuff into you. You're going to eat well. You're going to drink well. You're going to be able to watch the game. You're going to be able to come up on the show, giggity, what Chuggs and I do, a boot, do some beer bongs. At the end of the day, I want to do what Jeremy and I do, but I want y'all to join us. And it's going to be really freaking sick, man. Tons of giveaways. We're going to be giving away jerseys, signed football. I believe there's going to be a few Raiders players there on top of that, so you guys can get some autographs. But it's also an opportunity to hang out, get to know us a little bit better. And if we do this well, there's a chance we might be able to do it next season, every single game. So I mean it. At Ahern. Need you to show up. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, let's get into our top 2 candidates here to be the next Raiders OC. And I'm telling you right now, if one of these 2 guys end up getting hired, I'm going to be a very, very happy individual. And if I'm being honest with you, I think the other 4 names are just kind of 4 names. This is where it starts for me. This is where the Raiders need to go, and it's only these 2 guys. Really, I shouldn't even put number 2 for Robinson here. It's 1A and 1B in my book. But let's go. Zach Robinson, Rams pass game coordinator and quarterback coach. I'm a believer that if you've seen something be successful a lot, there's probably a reason behind it. And a lot of coaches that come from Sean McVay, that come from that coaching tree, they are very successful in the NFL. And here's just another example of Robinson coming from that tree, very highly regarded. It was reported that he finished second in the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator job rankings, and they decided to go with Shane Waldron over him. So when you think about Robinson, he also has some connections here with Tom Telesco. He's worked with quarterbacks like Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, and the reason why that is intriguing to me is because Zach Robinson has also had some good ties with some QBs that not are going to run a total air it out offense, but can run an offense that's predicated on having a good running back, a little bit of play action, maybe can move a little bit in the pocket. Doesn't have any play calling experience, and that's why, to me, he's ranked number 2 on this list. I would be ecstatic if the Raiders were able to bring in Robinson, but because he doesn't have any play calling experience is the simple reason why he is number 2 on my list, which means coming in here at number 1 is Kliff Kingsbury, the USC quarterback coach, senior offensive assistant. The reason why he's number 1 on my list is because if you listen to what Antonio Pierce said at this presser, he wanted somebody to come in that had some coaching experience, and I believe that AP is really going to concentrate on the defensive side of the football, which then allows Kingsbury to do his own thing. He's going to run a spread offense, which I do think is what the Raiders want. AP described the offense that he's looking for, where they're going to take shots down the field. They're going to do a lot of speed, a lot of pre-snap motion. Guess what? That is Kingsbury offense through and through. He also has that coaching experience, which I do really think is what Antonio Pierce is going to need. You concentrate on what you do best, AP. Build that defense. Make it even better than what it was last season. And then you allow Kingsbury, who, yes, did not do a good job as a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, but he is the perfect example, maybe not the perfect example, because maybe the perfect example was our head coach last season, of there are certain people who are built to be head coaches, and then there are certain people that are built to be coordinators. Kliff Kingsbury, to me, is a smart offensive mind. He's very highly touted. And the reason why I'm confident and why he is highly touted, because I believe Lincoln Riley is a good head coach, right? Whether maybe if you're from Oklahoma, you don't think that. But he's a good head coach. Who does he go on to get? Kliff Kingsbury. Why? He's got a quarterback like Caleb Williams. Think about all the talented quarterbacks that Kliff has worked with. Why? Because people want him to work with talented quarterbacks. And if you want the Raiders to find a franchise QB, if they hire him, that's a home run swing. And to me, that means they're going to be swinging for the fences, which is what the Raiders need to do. So give me a name. I said to me, Kliff Kingsbury, Zach Robinson. But what do y'all think? Who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? I asked you this question at the very beginning of the show. Now, since I've rolled through all the names, told you a little bit more about those guys, who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? It is Kliff Kingsbury. It is Zach Robinson as the top targets as it stands right now for the Silver and Black. And it's not even close to me. I will admit, if the Raiders put in an interview for Klint Kubiak, I would add Klint Kubiak to this list on top of that. Kliff, Robinson, Klint Kubiak are the top 3 candidates. That hasn't changed from the moment I made my first video. It hasn't changed now. But based off of all the interviews that the Raiders have put in, Kingsbury and Robinson give this team the best opportunity to move forward and compete for the ultimate goal, which is not only for an AFC West title, though I'd love to be able to shut up the Chiefs. It's to go out and get that Lombardi trophy. So one more time here are the top Raiders OC candidates, if I had to rank them. Rolling in here at number 6 is Mike Sullivan. Luke Getsy at number 5. Thad Lewis at 4. Alex Van Pelt at 3. Zach Robinson 2. And rolling in at number 1, Kliff Kingsbury. All right, y'all, who are you hoping the Raiders hire to be the OC? I need you to give some shout-outs, and I'm going to put on a different jersey. What do you got for me?
We already have the answer this, so
You got a different one?
Answer this question. Who do you think?
All right.
We asked you who's going to win the conference championships.
I like it.
Between the Lions, Niners, and Chiefs and Ravens. But at the end of the day, who's going to win the Super Bowl? I think the odds-on favorite might be the 2 AFC teams with the Ravens and the Chiefs. But who do you think? Is it going to be the Ravens, type R, Chiefs, type C, Lions, type L, or if you think it's the Niners, type 4. Let me know, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this season? I see a lot of R's coming in and a lot of L's from Gary, Hustlin, Raider, Sancho, Marty May, Ron Raspberry. Now, I wonder if this is more, who do you want to win the Super Bowl in the comment section? Because I think by far the Lions are the least likely to win the Super Bowl.
Sure. I would say the team that I'd be the least confident to win the Super Bowl would probably be the Detroit Lions, and I hate to admit that because that's the team that I want to win it the most.
Well, and I think when it comes down to quarterbacks, which I'm looking at which team has the best quarterbacks, and then for me it's quarterbacks and defense. I think the Lions, if I'm tiering like quarterback plus defense for all 4 of these teams, the Lions come in 4th.
So you're taking Jared Goff over Brock Purdy?
I think Brock. No. The Lions are in 4th. I'm saying if you take quarterback plus defense.
Okay.
Lions are in 4th.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like I think the two most important parts is your quarterback and your defense.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think number one would be Lamar Jackson and the Ravens defense because that Ravens defense is legit.
It might be the best defense.
Number two for me would probably be Brock Purdy and the Niners defense, just because the Niners defense is legit. Third would be Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Fourth would be the Lions.
That Chiefs defense is a lot better, and
they are.
That Chiefs defense is better than what gets credit, and Mahomes in the playoffs he's the scariest thing since Tom Brady. It's almost, I agree with Lamar and the Ravens, but the team that scares people the most is Kansas City. I don't care what anybody says. Who's the last team that you want to play? It's Kansas City.
On my Texans channel, I said the team that I would least want to play would be the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do not blame you.
Then again, the Texans got steamrolled by the Ravens, but
the Ravens played a hell of a football game there, right? Like, the Ravens were a good football team. They were the better football team, and they showed that they were clearly the better. And that's going to happen sometimes. Like, when Lamar plays the game that he does, when your quarterback rushes for 100 yards, it's just good luck. And then they can get a lead on you. Good luck trying to slow them down.
And if you didn't hear in the middle of that cut, the breaking news around the NFL is Raheem Morris.
Yep.
The Rams DC is now being named the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons.
Grade the higher, A, B, C, D, or F. Also, Anthony Green, you in.
Oh, we got a little race going.
Anthony Green, you in. As it stands right now, winner would get $200. $50 Venmo for a chance to win $200. That's it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. Also, I got to add Mr. Green here.
That plus the $100 discount, you're on your way.
He's still got we got a while to go to get Marsh to the Super Bowl, the race rebel, but there's a chance. There's definitely a chance.
So you're saying Marsh is smiling right now as we speak.
We'll see. What do you think? Grade the higher, Raheem Morris to the Falcons, A, B, C, D, or F?
I do have to say it's really impressive what he's been able to do with that defense. You have Aaron Donald, but besides that, you lose your two best players this past offseason besides Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Bobby Wagner. And you continue to be pretty, good on defense with the Rams. They've had good defenses under Raheem Morris, has had experience in the past.
Yep.
I just really wonder what happened because all signs last week indicated that the Falcons were going to be going after Bill Belichick. He had multiple interviews with them. He seemed to be very interested in that job. I wonder what the Falcons decided within those.
Raheem was their interim. He was their interim a few years ago. I remember. I don't remember exactly what year it was. So, that could have been a reason why they're like, all right, he went over to the Rams, said he got a little bit better, learned underneath McVay. They've seen all the success that McVay guys have had, and
maybe.
Me though, Belichick would not have been the guy I would have hired.
For the segment that we just did, this is going to highly impact with the Raiders' offensive coordinator search because who's tied with Raheem Morris? That would be the number 2 on your list, Zach Robinson.
Yeah.
Does he end up getting is it almost a package deal in my thought of Raheem Morris to the Falcons, Zach Robinson follows him to be the OC?
I'll tell you what, I didn't even think of that from the jump when that news happened. You're right though. If you're Raheem Morris, you're bringing over Zach Robinson with you. I think that is really good dot connecting. Right? That's where there's smoke, there's fire type of shit.
So it will impact the Raiders, even though you're like, oh, the Falcons are in the NFC South. You only play them once every 4 years. It still impacts the Raiders with their coaching searches for another offensive coordinator. Maybe you have one less option. You already wanted to go after Shane Waldron. He went to the Bears.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at Zach Robinson. He might be on his way to the Falcons.
True. Very true. All right.
Now I wonder if the Raiders kind of expand their search, and a hot name that's been out there, Texans QB coach Gerard Johnson was able to develop C.J. Stroud, played in the league for a while. Now, I don't know if he gets the nod over Kliff Kingsbury because we know Mark Davis was, the caveat of hiring Antonio Pierce was he wanted other people with experience, which Gerard Johnson does not have that with play calling and being an OC.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I put Kliff at number 1 is because if Mark Davis is going to sit up there and say, I'm nervous about hiring a first-time GM and a first-time head coach, goes with Telesco, I think he's going to have that exact same mindset when it comes to, you got a defensive-minded head coach. Like, I don't want to do a first-time play caller at OC.
And we look at the coach openings now. Now we only have Seattle.
Yep. Commanders.
The Commanders.
That's it.
That's it. And the Commanders, I've been under the impression for the past week it's Ben Johnson's job. Whenever the Lions are out of the playoffs, I think
Ben Johnson
that
going to the
same
Commanders.
week it's announced Ben Johnson is the head coach
I agree.
of the Washington Commanders. So that means either Mark Vrabel or Bill Belichick will not be a head coach this season.
I would be more surprised if Vrabel than Belichick because I've thought Belichick has been a little washed for a few years and it's been a pretty common topic on this show. But Vrabel not having a job, that would be shocking to me because to me he's a top 32 coach in the NFL. I think he's a top 32 coach.
And the early reports is that Seattle might be leaning towards Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who spent his early years with Seattle. If he goes to Seattle, what does that leave Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick?
Dude.
Would either of them be willing to be a DC? The Dolphins' DC job just opened up. Would Bill Belichick go back to the AFC East and be the Dolphins' DC?
It'd be wild.
I don't think he would. I
just saw Andrew B. said, unfortunately, Vrabel is a chief when Reed retires. I mean, this was merely speculation by Adam Schefter, but he said it today on Get Up. He said that he thought if the Chiefs won a Super Bowl, Andy Reid would retire and Bill Belichick would take over. That's literally what he said today. Again, it was merely speculation, but that's what he said today. It was insane. I think that's Schefter just trying to poke a bear.
I think that is like, I don't even know. Like,
I'm not going to lie. I would be super happy. I would be jumping for joy if Belichick. I don't think Belichick, again, I don't think Belichick is going to do
that. That would be the biggest, like, silver spoon, like, everything handed to you for Belichick if he's able to just go into Kansas City with that team and a quarterback with Patrick Mahomes.
I would rather Bill Belichick in Kansas City than Andy Reid in Kansas City.
No, I mean, if you're facing the Chiefs, obviously it's a great thing.
Yeah.
To have Belichick instead of Andy Reid because Belichick's a defensive guy, but
I thought it was
weird. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's what he said. And if it happens, then I'm not going to lie, I'd be pretty happy about it.
Isn't Belichick older than Reid?
Belichick's 72. I don't know how old Andy Reid is. It's got to be up there, though. Bill Belichick looks 30 years older than Andy Reid in my book.
Andy Reid's 65.
Okay. Bring him in. Bring him in. All right, y'all. The next segment coming up here on the show is a little smoke around Kliff Kingsbury and whether or not the Raiders are going to potentially hire him. I got a deal, though. I got a deal for everyone.
We do have some super chats.
We do have some super chats to go through. We're going to go through those, but here's my deal. We've had a few 100s that have come in, and I've been putting names on our boot fund, and I haven't been drinking. So for the rest of the show, if you send in a 100, you're going to get 2 names on the boot, and I'm going to do a beer bong.
And we're 300 away from my second boot.
That's ballsy. Another boot. You're spoiling me today. Chugs has been on his... Chugs has lost a lot of weight. I don't know if you guys could tell. He's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really. You have. Like, when I think about when you first started working here compared to, like, now.
No, now I'm back down to whenever I first started working here.
Oh, really?
It went up. And then it went back. Now I'm back
I guess
down.
I'm thinking of, like, the early, like, you hosting shows with me days.
Early Raider days, yeah.
Yeah. Which... I mean, I've gained quite a bit of weight. You gain weight when you work here. Believe it or not, when you drink every day.
Muscle weighs more than fat.
That's true. Your throat muscles are strong. You got a six-pack underneath that.
Not like, who's that guy that we...
Oh, the coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can tell you. Hold on.
Was it pitcher?
No. It was
Was it the Van Pelt?
Chad O'Shea.
Chad O'Shea. If you ever seen Chad O'Shea's throat, that guy's got a six-pack on his throat. Dude's got 3 Adam's apples.
That dude could fit a boot in his throat.
Oh, yep. Let's just move on from that. Brandon, Mitch, a little birdie just told me where I can get more Raiders content. He said go to Locals. For the best content, personal interactions, and more live shows. For those that do not know, I go live every single Wednesday. And if you haven't figured it out yet, Brandon will definitely tell you. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, over on Locals, which is at the link that you see below, Raidersport.locals.com. Talked about Telesco, talked about the hiring process, and then the Raiders hired a coach when we were live on Local. So then I said, all right, I got to film this thing real quick. And
did they watch you do a short?
No, I wish because I had to film it in the other room. But we were live on there for almost 30 minutes. You should have just brought your laptop
and had them watch you film a short.
All right, next time if I'm ever on Locals again and breaking news happens, I'll film a quick
Or
vid.
if you need to do a video, you just bring the laptop and they watch you set up the graphics for it.
That would be a lot. Rosario, you in? Rosario, you in?
Rufio.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That's literally what I thought. It is literally what I thought.
Rufio.
Rosario Morella, you in? So right now we got 9 people in this duck race. Win $225. $50 Venmo for a chance to win $225. Drew, Belichick, Raiders DC when PG gets head coaching job next year. I'm good on that. Like I will say Belichick is a great defensive mind, but to me the reason why you can't do that is you can't bring in a Patriot again. I just don't think that's a smart thing to do.
My favorite thing to happen, and if it would be which I don't think it would ever happen. I think their personalities are way too far apart, and I don't think it would ever work out, is if Belichick was the Dolphins' DC.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that would scare me, though...
I couldn't imagine him being... Like Mike McDaniel being his boss.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A dude walks in with some new Jordans with the tags on.
That's the complete opposite.
Yeah, new Jordans with the tags on, listening to Eminem, and he's like, yo, Bill, what you got planned for the defense this week?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same for the Raiders. Like, Antonio Pierce, like the vibe that they're going to have, and then there's Bill. And also, I don't want Bill to be a part of the front office either, because if you want to talk about, like, somebody who is awful at making decisions, it's very well known. He's not a good... He was kind of like their GM on top of that.
It's like if
he was awful.
It's like if DK came in and was Brett's boss.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
Brett, you not turning in your work on time, that's a total ick.
Drew, I think it's a creative idea. I'm going to respectfully say no. Like, I don't think it'd be a good culture fit. I don't think that he would be the right guy for the job. On sportsmanlike entertainment, Eric Bieniemy should be interviewed. I agree that Eric Bieniemy should be interviewed. I don't think that he would ever get the job again because of his past.
First-time Super Chatter as well.
First-time Super Chatter. Shout out to him. But what I do think is smart, and when you listen to the press conference yesterday with AP, he talked a lot about the idea of, bringing in people that have that experience of the AFC West. One of the reasons why Telesco was hired is because he had some of that experience in the AFC West. And to me, that would be the valuable asset to that of why you interview Bieniemy. If it was up to me, I would also bring in Bill Belichick. And I've said that before, where the Raiders have Tom Brady. Like, if I'm Mark Davis, if I am Antonio Pierce, if I'm Tom Telesco, I would love to be able to sit down in a room together with Tom Brady and Bill and just say, hey, what were some of the things that you guys did to help create the greatest dynasty in the NFL, ever? And yeah, times change, but to me, you can still learn from that experience. Doesn't mean that you're going to go that route, but you can still learn from that experience, where right now, the Raiders are the only team that can do that, because if Tom Brady's going to other teams and giving that information out, I don't like that. I wouldn't like that at all.
I don't like it.
I don't like it, man.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit.
I don't. Let me refresh my phone here, see if anybody else is in. Nope, we got, like I said, got a few people in for a chance to win some money on today's show.
Money.
Coming up here, we're going to get into a segment around Kliff Kingsbury and whether or not he's going to be the OC because there's some rumors circulating.
Kliff Kingsbury.
I will say saying his name is a tongue twister.
Kliff Kingsbury, Kliff Kingsbury, Kliff Kingsbury, Kliff Kingsbury, Kliff Kingsbury.
See, I think it's difficult. I struggle with it. I do. I'm not going to lie. I struggle with it. Jeremy's like, that was really easy. Like, I'm telling you this right now. On a Thursday night football show, if he's the OC, there's going to be some slurring going on.
Kliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, you're not wrong. What up, Don Hill? Joshua Black here in the building. I see I'm Punchy, Big Island, Mr. Caps Keenan, Ryan Bass. What up, Rem?
All right.
You ready?
If you're ready for us to talk about Kliff Kingsbury possibly being the OC for the Las Vegas Raiders, go down and like the video. We're at 600 likes, 1,200 viewers. That means half of y'all haven't liked the video yet. If you want Kliff Kingsbury to be the OC of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Otten Peter says, Mitch, why not Hugh Jackson for OC? I know some of y'all want to go back to the old school Hugh Jackson days. He's definitely somebody who does not deserve to be a head coach, but did some good things on the offensive side of the football. One of my really good buddies down here in Dallas runs a podcast with Hugh, and from what I understand, I don't know if he's all that motivated right now to be an offensive coordinator. That's just me being real.
Insert Rocky workout montage.
No, not quite. I mean, I think Hugh has said that he's interested, but this is just me going off as somebody who I know very well down here that does a podcast occasionally with Hugh that's very tied in, used to play in the SEC. So it's like, I'm going to trust his word because he's like said to me, he's like, I don't think that he's mentally there right now. And I think that's an honest conversation.
As in, like, he's not, like,
I think there's
motivated. Like, not like he's not mentally there. Like
correct. Yeah. He's not Chandler Jones, right? Like he's.
You made it sound like the boy was like.
That's fair.
Eating canned soup out of the jar.
No, I think it's one of those things. You know, it's just like anything. If you're going to be a coordinator, a coach of an NFL team,
he's eating peas out of the tin.
It is totally different, man. It's a whole nother level of how motivated you got to be. What is the worst canned vegetable to eat out of a tin?
Pearl onions.
Oh, see, I like pearl onions.
Nah, yeah, cooked, good. Just straight out of a tin.
Is okra in a tin? Because okra's
slimy when it's not cooked.
Dude, Alex's mom, and I say this because it's probably the first thing that Alex's mom has ever made for me where I was like,
spinach? Yeah, that would be bad.
I don't know if I loved it. Was cactus. Because she's made cactus for me before, and she's put it like in meat, and it was almost like this like meatloaf with cactus. It was very good. Cactus by itself, though, I'll be honest, it was like the same consistency. It was like, I felt like I was eating an aloe plant. Like I felt like I should have rubbed it on my body. I didn't love it. Has anybody ever had cactus? Y for yes, N for no.
Nopales. That's what it's called.
Nopales.
Yeah.
Yeah, cactus was not my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I love asparagus.
Canned asparagus.
I love asparagus.
Have you had canned asparagus?
I have not.
It's not very good.
No?
I've tried it once. Not the same. It's like, like I like my asparagus to
John
be cooked.
Tinsley, yeah, that's what we had it with, carne asada.
I like my asparagus cooked, but like with like a little bite on it, Canned asparagus is like mush.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I would like that then.
Easiest one by far, canned corn.
Oh, 100%. I love canned corn.
Canned corn!
Dude, canned corn like if I'm going to make corn, like cornbread or like corn muffins, I make it with cream corn.
Yeah, canned corn.
Oh, dude, F me up one time. Okay, y'all, let's go. Let's talk here a little bit about Kliff Kingsbury, smoke, fire, in terms of him being the next OC. And then we got another segment to do.
Ooh, Raiders Sense, you're making me hungry. He said grilled bacon-wrapped asparagus.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's one of my asparagus, a little bit of like any kind of cheese, to be honest with you. Lots of pepper, some salt.
I just
with like almonds.
I'm very, very simple asparagus. Give me olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, mix it all in, grill it. I'm good.
I am a slut for rosemary too.
I am, but I've made some mistakes cooking with rosemary.
Yeah?
It's one of those things. If you put too much, it can totally ruin it.
It's a lot of rosemary.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I got you. Okay, I'm getting hungry. Here we go. Coming up, Let's talk a little bit about Kliff Kingsbury sponsors Game Time. Cool? Cool. Let's do it. Do you want the Raiders to hire Kliff Kingsbury to be the offensive coordinator? Give me a yes, give me a no, and when you come across this video, the most important question on today's show, and I'm going to give you my answer at the very, very end, yes or no, do you want the Raiders to hire Kliff Kingsbury? Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. Coming up on today's show, are the Raiders planning on hiring Kliff Kingsbury to be their OC? The reason why I'm thinking this is because I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it a million times. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke right now around Kingsbury joining the Silver and Black. I will make you this promise. I make this promise a lot on this show. I love hanging out with the nation. You're not going to find anybody that works harder than what Jeremy and I do here, and you might not agree with everything that we say, but I think people respect the fact that we have that commitment to excellence because I have that commitment to all y'all. You guys are my family. Believe that. So we will be live once the Raiders hire an OC. I don't care what day of the week it is. I don't care what time it is. We went live for 26 hours at 1 a.m. when they fired McDaniels. If you don't think I'm going to be up here hooting and hollering when the Raiders hire an OC, man, you got another thing coming. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those notifications turned on. And let's turn up here a little bit. Let's talk about Kliff and his coaching experience, and then I'll get into why I think it is starting to lead to him being the next OC here for the team. He was the Houston offensive quality control coach in 2008 and 2009. And I think one of the reasons why Kliff is the way that he is because he's been a part of a lot of teams that, let's face it, they chuck the football around. He was the Houston co-OC and QB coach back in 2010 and 2011. Then he went to Texas A&M to be the OC and quarterback coach in 2012. This is where he, I think, started to take off. Texas Tech head coach really created this air raid, spread it out type of offense from 2013, 2018, had the opportunity to work with Patrick Mahomes. Then in Arizona, head coach from 2019 to 2023, and then in USC, the quarterback coach, where he is right now. So what I want to do here is I want to go through a little bit of a timeline, and I know that a lot of people are busy. People have a lot of other things besides following the Raiders, watching the Raiders Report. That's why I'm here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through this timeline of why I am thinking so confidently that the Raiders, I think, hinted at the idea of hiring Kingsbury. I just don't know if you saw it or not. And I put out some of this stuff on social media before, and if you don't already know, I'm at Mitchell Renz 365 everywhere. So Kingsbury was rumored to the Las Vegas Raiders a week before they ultimately decided to put in that interview request for him. So multiple reports come out on January 15th that had the Raiders linked to Kliff Kingsbury. The first person was Colin Cowherd. He was on a show, and the way that Cowherd said it was like, hey, man, I had a really good source reach out to me and tell me that it sounds like if AP is the man that is hired, his top choice to be the offensive coordinator is going to be Kliff Kingsbury. Then a few hours later, Caleb Williams declares for the NFL draft, and I was like, oh shit, are they about to do both of these things? Also, Albert Breer reported that he was hearing that not only Kingsbury but Getsy were linked to this potential job. Getsy then gets an interview. A few days later, Kliff Kingsbury gets an interview. So two people that definitely have a lot of connections that I think are well connected in the NFL world. When they both say something the exact same, I'm like, okay, I'm listening because a lot of smoke around this thing. Then the Raiders request his interview. So he has interviewed with a few other teams to be their OC. One of the teams was the Chicago Bears. And I know that Champ Kelly did not get the GM job, but he is still the assistant GM, has a lot of friends, has a lot of coworkers, has a lot of networking that he's done with the Bears in the past and has a lot of those connections. So then the Raiders request him to interview, and he is one of 6 candidates as it stands right now that I am filming this video. And as you can see, he is my number 1 Raiders OC candidate that I believe that they should go out and they should get. And then Zach Robinson in there at number 2. One of the things to note is with Raheem Morris just getting hired by the Atlanta Falcons, he was the DC for the Rams. I am curious because I said before that it's between Zach Robinson and it's between Kliff Kingsbury. Those are the top 2 candidates for the Raiders. If I'm Raheem Morris and I'm looking at that Atlanta Falcons team, I'm going, hey, I know it would be your first time calling plays, but Robinson, I want you to be my OC. So to me, I think Raheem Morris, he just got hired by the Falcons. Then you see Zach Robinson, he's going to go over to Atlanta, which then leaves Kliff Kingsbury as the clear choice for the Las Vegas Raiders. If it was up to me, when Kliff walks into that interview, you don't let him leave. Because if he does, I don't want any of the other guys to be the next Raiders OC. I'll tell you that right now. Let's go to the next reason here. And this honestly was the biggest one for me. And when you follow the Raiders as closely as I do, and it's my job to, and a lot of people, like I said, people are busy. They don't follow the ins and outs of it. But when you listen to what Antonio Pierce said in that press conference to me, I mean, as soon as he was talking, it was light bulb went off in my head, and I go, holy shit. They're going to end up hiring Kliff Kingsbury, aren't they? I'll tell you exactly what AP said, but before I do, man, because what Pierce said at his press conference, you also are going to be like, oh, yeah, man, I think Kliff Kingsbury is going to end up getting the job. I'll tell you what that was, but for those that do not know, there is an app out there that is an awesome, awesome app, and I think anytime that somebody wants to save a little bit of money to be able to go out to a city near you and have an awesome event, I want you to download the Game Time app right now. And if anybody plans on going to the big game, $100 off if you use code BIGGAME, or $100 off Big Game with code Vegas100. That's on me. So download the Game Time app right now. $20 off with code RaidersChat. Create an account. Use code RaidersChat for $20 off your first purchase. Also, the big game, it's right around the corner. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're going to be out in Las Vegas. We're going to be partying it up. And if you plan on being out in Vegas and you want to go to the big game, use promo code Vegas100 to get $100 off a purchase of a ticket to the big game. Only valid for the big game. This offer is available to all users, not just new users. You can get some extra food and drinks with the savings to make the big game more enjoyable. I know Chuggs and I were talking about potentially going out, seeing Tom Segura with some of the money that, if I was saving $100, one of the first things I would do would be potentially go to an event under $50, potentially go to a Las Vegas Golden Knights game. There's sections on Game Time where you can see under $50, or if you just want to buy some extra beers, hang out with us, hey man, you absolutely could do it. But the reason why I love Game Time is it's literally created for going out to Vegas, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed, Super Bowl weekend when we're out there. Like, I don't really want to tie us to too many plans because I've never been out there for the Super Bowl. I've never been in a city around the Super Bowl. So the fact that him and I can do whatever the heck we want, and then we're like, all right, let's go on Game Time. Let's find a last-minute ticket because they want to sell the tickets so that way nobody sits in them. There you go. You go to an event, have a good time. So if you want to go get started, the link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description. Download the Game Time app today. All right, so coming up here, what Antonio Pierce said at his press conference, which really kind of made me spark this idea of, I think that they're going to hire Kliff. So I went back, I had to look at some old reports, went back, started connecting a lot of dots, and then what AP said was really an eye-opener for me. And some of the things that he said of what he's looking for going forward, because I forget who asked the question directly, but they were talking about quarterback, they were talking about the offensive coordinator, and these were the four things that stuck out to me. That AP wants a teacher at OC. And the reason why that's important to me is one of the things that they've been really, really looking for are people that can help build and teach overall like what they're trying to go out and do. And to me, AP is a great teacher on the defensive side of the football. He doesn't have a lot of experience being a head coach, let's face it, right? So to me, the fact that Tom Telesco ended up getting hired, and because they didn't want a first-time GM, they didn't want a first-time head coach, well, Kliff Kingsbury does have experience calling plays. Kliff Kingsbury does have experience being a head coach, so he might be able to be the head coach on the offensive side of the football. Wants more explosive plays. Air raid, throw it down the field, bomb it down the fairway. I mean, that is what Kliff Kingsbury is known to do. Taking shots down the field, lots of motion on offense. So to me, this screams, we need more speed at the wide receiver position. We need more playmakers. We need more vertical threats. You add all of that into with the people that the Raiders are hiring, that's Kliff Kingsbury, that's Zach Robinson. That is not anybody else on that list that I think is a legitimate hire for the Raiders. So you add all of that in. To me, it's like Kliff Kingsbury, man, I really think is going to be the next OC here for the Las Vegas Raiders. Then the next thing is this. If you're the Raiders, you know that you got to find your quarterback, right? It's been rumored that Champ Kelly was not really looking in the draft in terms of going out and finding a guy. And the fact that Kliff has worked with great quarterbacks, now you're going to see one name on here and you're going to be like, great quarterback, what the hell are you talking about? But Baker Mayfield was with him actually at Texas Tech, and he was best at OU. Best with OU. Kyler Murray with the Arizona Cardinals. Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. Caleb Williams at USC. But Baker, number 1 overall pick. Kyler Murray, number 1 overall pick. Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL right now. Caleb Williams potentially going to be the #1 overall pick. So if I'm Antonio Pierce, if I'm Tom Telesco, I'm sitting there going, well, this guy has worked with some big-name QBs. He's had a lot of success in this air raid style of offense. And if I am trying to implement that, I do think that this is a guy who has worked with that big-name person before and has had some success airing it out. Plus, if you got a little bit of an insight on Patrick Mahomes, the guy that is haunting you right now and the rest of the NFL, why not potentially get a little bit of insight on that? So if Kliff Kingsbury is the Raiders OC, who's going to be the quarterback? And this is going to be a video that I end up making once the Raiders officially announce who they are hiring at OC. The video that I am going to make is my quarterback projection based on that OC. But let's play a game. Kliff Kingsbury is the Raiders OC. Who do you want to be the quarterback? To me, there's two names that I would really throw out there. Number one is obviously Caleb Williams, considering the fact that Kingsbury has worked with Caleb Williams before at USC. On top of that, if there's been one name that Caleb has been linked to, probably the most from an NFL comp, it's been Patrick Mahomes, who also Kliff Kingsbury has worked with. I also just think because it's Jaden Daniels and he has such a good connection with Antonio Pierce, Marvin Lewis is on this roster as well. Those would be the top two quarterbacks that they would look for, but I'm just going to be real. I also would love to have Drake May. I think we'd have a lot of success with Kliff Kingsbury. Let's go now to the last reason. Well, actually, I'll tell you why I want you guys to hang out with Jeremy Chuggs and I in Las Vegas. We're going to be doing a Super Bowl 58 watch party. Where? At the Ahern Hotel. Here is the address if you need to look it up. When is it going to be? Super Bowl Sunday, February 11th at 2 p.m. First come, first serve. I'm telling you that right now. There is limited space. It holds about 100 people. So if you want to make sure that you're going to get a seat, I would recommend getting there a little bit early. I will say this, no matter what, for the people that show up, you're going to get time to talk to Jeremy and I before, after the show. We have a full bar. We're going to have tons of food and drink deals there for the nation. And if you show up, if you want a free drink, believe me, we're going to have enough to be able to give around. I was asked, is it kid-friendly? I would say yes. Like, if you are comfortable with your kid watching the Raiders Report on YouTube, on television, then it's going to be the exact same thing there. It's just going to be more opportunities for you guys to come up on stage with us, have a beer bong, take a shot, have a good time, and we are just bringing the Raiders Report to you. But the reason why I'm really want you all to show up, if we kill this thing, then we can go out to Vegas every single game next season. And then that's going to take the Raiders Report to a whole new level. I think there's going to be some players there. We're going to have tons and tons of giveaways. It's going to be an awesome night. So please pull up if you support Jeremy and I, and if you support the Raiders Report. Here we go. The last thing that I think of why I'm thinking, all right, I think it's going to be the Kliff Kingsbury train. If you've noticed, the Raiders have been hiring a lot of player coaches, people who have not only plenty of coaching experience, but people that also have playing experience, right? When you think about the last two coaches that the Raiders hired on the defensive side of the football, players and coaches. Think about Antonio Pierce, player and coach. When you hear somebody like Max Crosby, Devontae Adams talk about how much easier it is of an understanding between player and coach, that, all right, like they've been there, they've done that. To me, what the Raiders are really trying to do is they're trying to build a certain roster. And even though Kingsbury did not play a lot as an actual QB, he did actually play in the NFL, which is still an unbelievable feat by a lot of people, right? He's played with the Patriots, the Saints, the Broncos, the Jets, and the Buffalo Bills, 5 seasons in the NFL. So when you add up all of those things, that's why I'm a big believer that Kliff Kingsbury is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders, unless something crazy happens. It has not been confirmed when exactly he's going to be meeting, and I'm going to be making this video here just so all y'all know on Thursday. So there might be a few things that end up changing, that ends up coming out. But from this moment right now, I do not know when Kingsbury is going to be interviewing. And if I'm the Raiders, he's your top target. He's the guy that I really want you to go out and get. And when he enters that room, you don't let him leave. You make him the offensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. And if and when that happens, we're going to be going live here on the Raiders Report. If Kliff Kingsbury is the Raiders OC, who's going to be the quarterback? Let's give some shout-outs here, Mr. Chuggs. What do you guys think here? We got 1,200 people here. What are y'all thinking, man? If Kliff Kingsbury is the Raiders OC, who's going to be the Raiders quarterback? Also, we only got 692 likes. If you haven't already, click that like button. If you haven't already, click that like button. Caleb Williams from Cloud. Oh, boy. Raiderzilla says, I'm in the house. Jaden Daniels from Ren X. Caleb again from Cloud. Nico said, got to trade up first. Oh, you're right. Even though I want all these quarterbacks, you're going to have to give up an arm and a leg to get them. I would do it. To me, like, that's the route. But just because I would do it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Like, just because I am willing to do it, I think the Patriots should draft QB. I think the Commanders should draft QB. I think the Bears should draft a QB, right? So we'll see what they end up doing. Like, to me, the team that is the easiest to trade up with based off of their current situation is Chicago. And the reason why I say that is because I know some people don't think very highly of Justin Fields. Caleb Williams would be the route that I would go. However, though, if you're Chicago, right, think about how much you gave up last season or how much you got last season to have the Carolina Panthers trade up for you, with you. You're going to have a lot of draft picks down the line. You just hired a brand new head coach. I do think that it would be an intriguing idea of, could we just stock up even more and roll with it with Justin Fields? Because if you were to ask Bear fans, and our host here at Chat Sports that runs our Bears show asked, who would you rather have, Justin Fields or Caleb Williams? And that fan base, it was not even close, voted for Justin Fields. Like, I think that fan base understands of how bad Chicago has been as a whole and how much it has hurt Justin Fields' overall development. I disagree with the take of, I'll take Justin Fields over Caleb Williams. But then again, I've also talked to multiple Raiders players that said the exact same thing, that Justin Fields would be better than Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. They didn't say that exactly, but they said that Justin Fields is the best quarterback if he were to be in this draft. Which, I will always respect what players have to say. I always respect what other fan bases have to say because I haven't watched as much Bears football. I haven't watched as much as Justin Fields as somebody who watches every single Bears game, right? It's why I used to laugh at sometimes when people would be like, I could tell exactly who's watched Raiders games and who hasn't based off of the way that they would talk to me about a QB like Derek Carr, right? Based off of the way that they talk to me with somebody like Aiden O'Connell, based off the way they talk to me with Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever it is. I've always been pretty good at locking in which quarterbacks I think are going to be good and which ones aren't going to be good. What up, Ivan? Mitchell Renz for QB. Chugs for right tackle. I mean, our right tackle position is open, though Chugs is more of a guard to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's a right tackle. I think if you're going to put Chugs on the line, it's a right guard. What do you guys think? If we're going to put Chugs on the line, right guard or right tackle or left guard, I guess any guard position, or is he a center? Chugs at center. I don't know. I kind of think it's interesting. Brian wants Baker Mayfield if Kliff Kingsbury is the Raiders OC. I don't love that idea. Baker, $25 million a year. It's a little rich for my blood. Cloud says guard. Center from Ed Robbins. Right guard from Ryan DeKing. Ryan DeLone's going to go with guard. King Zay, free safety. Now we're talking. Nose tackle from King Sanchez. So Chugs, if I had to guess, is Chugs probably like 5'10", 5'11". I'm going to say like 225. 235. Let's go 235. I mean, imagine a nose tackle in the NFL at 235 pounds. What do you weigh? Yeah. All right, so I said, Chugs just came and said he weighs 237. I said 235 because they were like, he could play nose tackle. So I was like, imagine a nose tackle in the NFL at 237. That's an undersized linebacker.
I could play tight end.
Tight end? Why is that?
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely not a wide receiver.
No? Yeah. I was thinking fullback. Yeah? Hey, there you go. All right, man, we got 1,200 people here in the house. Peak Boogie said giggity. You can say that. I can't. Ivan, Mitchell Renz for QB, Chugs for right tackle. That's how we started talking about it. I wouldn't be a quarterback, though. I was a pitcher in college, but if I legitimately were to play any position in the NFL, I would say I'd like to be like a free safety or a slot receiver. That'd probably be my best position. Because I'm not quick enough to be a corner. I'm a lot more like built, I think, like a safety and like a slot receiver than anything else. Not quick enough, though. Not quick enough. Let me refresh my phone. Remember, 50-50 raffle, 50 to get in. We only have 9 people in this thing as it stands right now. So we got one more segment to do on this show, so please keep that in mind. Mitch, you play left out. Kyle, you're right. I know that I would never be able to play in the NFL, but if I played football, those would be the positions that I would try to play for. Mitch can be the field goal holder. I'll tell you what, being a holder that's got to be one of the most difficult jobs out there. What am I doing? I'm going to pour one up here. I'm going to pour one up here for the nation for showing out today. I'm going to pour one up for the nation for showing out today. We got 1,200 people here in the chat, and if anybody's trying to turn up, you want to show them the deals real quick? So here are our deals on the Raiders Report today as it stands. So for those that do not know, we are doing a fund to get Marshall out to Vegas with us so he can race Rebel in a boot fund. And if anybody wants to add to that, $50 super chat.
We're 300 away from my second boot. But if somebody sends in a 200, I'll go ahead and just do it.
If somebody sent in a 3, I would do a boot race. If somebody sends in a 100, we add you to the bang race. I'll do a beer bong, and we're going to put that towards the Marshall Fund. So,
hey, Allie?
Uh-oh. What?
The food's here.
Oh. What'd you get? What'd you get? I don't know what I'm going to do for dinner tonight because I kind of effed up, and I forgot to delay my order, so I get Chuck Farmer's dog, and our freezer already had quite a bit. And I get a notification that I have a package, and I'm like, I never ordered anything, so I just assumed Alex got something. And I go down there, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Farmer's Dog. I'm not kidding you. Our entire freezer right now is nothing but Farmer's Dog.
Nice.
It's not good. Alex is pissed.
Oh, you double ordered?
Well, I had some left over, and I forgot to like spread it out because the food, they say it can stay in the freezer for 6 months. So I try to do like 3 months, just like keeping it in there. And they're like, we thaw it out, do the whole thing for Chuck. But like I already I have 2 months worth of food. Like now I'm getting close to like legitimately like 5 months of Farmer's Dog food. It's not good. It's not good.
Eating good in the neighborhood.
I mean, I told Alex though, I would rather eat. And I said, if we lose power, I think I could eat Farmer's Dog food. I'm not even kidding you. It doesn't look bad. It's kind of insane. All right, y'all. If you want a shout out here on the Raiders Report, I want to give a shout out to today's MVP. Right now, I believe is David Zahn. Zahn's got to be up there, I think, for the MVP today. Runaway Jet, Abjin, Phil Hunt actually has got to be up there.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Phil Hunt.
Funny enough, my neighbor doesn't do Farmer's Dog. He legit cooks for his dog every 2 weeks, goes out and just grills him like 10 chicken breasts and just keeps it in like the freezer. We'll nuke it in the microwave or thaw it out, cut it up, and put that in rice for his dog.
I mean, that's a whole nother level of dedication. I respect it.
I mean, every 2 weeks he's out there on the grill.
I respect it. That dog eats better than me. I respect it.
I mean, he's eating grilled chicken every day.
Also, Rob of Sin City said, yo, when is Chugs getting a background and not that green screen? Honestly, I don't know.
We need our own studio.
I say once. So one of the things, like when I always tell y'all, like, this is legitimate, like, we do not keep any of the money that y'all send in. We've been saving up for a very, very long time. And at Chat Sports, we do have, like, the biggest studio for Raiders. We call it Studio A, and we have a bunch of other ones. But we're saving up to build, like, literally just a Raiders Report studio. And, instead of me wearing all y'all jerseys, which I'm still going to wear them, we're going to create, like, I want to create, like, a Raiders, like, Hall of Fame wall with all the jerseys, like, line them up. If you guys, like, send us in, like, random things or whatever from watching the show, I want to create just, like, it's almost going to look like a Raiders bar. It's kind of like my idea of it.
Mr. Marcus Chugs, how was the Las Vegas Adele concert? Maybe the best concert I've ever been to. It was absolutely amazing. Like, it was more of a production than a concert. Literally, the background changes throughout the whole show. During, I set fire to the rain. Literally, in the middle of the stage is a piano on fire and rain.
That's nuts.
Dude, it's crazy.
We're not going to have anything like that at our Super Bowl 58 watch party, but
if we did.
I mean, imagine Brett's face just watching rain fall on all of our equipment.
I set fire to the rain.
Dude, you in a wet t-shirt? Oh,
Watched it burn
get me going right now.
as I touch your face.
Oh, dude, she can sing.
I always thought some of those Adele songs, like if you changed, like if you had like a rock band sing that song, like a heavy metal, like I set fire to the rain. Oh, burn, burn.
You're getting into it. I kind of liked it. Keep going. Keep doing your thing, man. All right, y'all, coming up here. Actually, I got to change my jersey real quick.
Oh,
I almost forgot.
quick change. Let's see. Mr. Marcus Chugg's hitting the. Hey, I saw her in person, so I learned from the best. Me and Adele, we're like this now. We're like this. Adele's my ride or die. But I mean, that concert was really good. It's up there with the best concerts I've seen. Coldplay's the best production. Yeah, Mitch is saying Coldplay. I mean, I've never seen Coldplay, but I could only imagine that would be an amazing concert. I've seen Logic. I've seen Drake in concert. That was fantastic. I saw Lizzo with my fiance before the controversies. Before the controversies. I saw.
As Nico said, her concert, ass-tastic.
Yeah. Who else? I've seen Childish Gambino. That was an incredible concert as well.
Mark said Kiss was great. Like I'll tell you this. If there, I don't wish that I lived, to be honest, in the 70s, 60s. I'm just being honest with y'all. Maybe 70s and 80s as a Raider fan would have been a lot more enjoyable. But like, I do think like being able to go to like those old school, like Bohemian Rhapsody, like the Beatles.
One
like,
of the
dude,
best concerts I've ever been to.
Unbelievable.
One of my buddies went to the University of Houston. That's where I grew up, was in Houston. And they had a concert at the college for their homecoming week. And it was like $50 for pit tickets and then $10 for just arena tickets, like in their basketball arena. Yeah. Now, being that everybody there is college kids and they're all broke, almost everybody bought $10 tickets. So the pit was like empty for like the first two people. And the headliner was Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, shit.
Slim Thug was there as well, and so was what's his name? Wale.
Oh.
They were all there. It was like a really good lineup. But Slim, I don't remember who was first. Maybe Slim Thug came out. It was either Slim Thug or Wale, and he saw the pit was empty, and everybody was in the stands, and he said, nah. F that shit. Everybody come down here. So everybody from like the arena jumped over and got in the pit, and then everybody was in the pit.
That's cool.
And, dude.
That's how it should be. Yeah, I mean, I remember this was, honestly, it was kind of insane. There was a black hole event like the first year in Vegas, like after COVID, and they had Too Short performing. And again, when I think of like a black hole event, they're good.
We saw Too Short.
We saw Too Short, which when we saw Too Short, it was a really cool event.
That was dope.
But that's because like Raider Cody and like Graf, like they put on the event. Like the black hole events that I've been to recently have not been very good, but I went to a black hole event the first year I was out in Vegas, and they had Too Short there. Nobody was there. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Too Short was performing in front of like 10 people. I felt bad for him, honestly. It was, man, I mean, I get it. The black hole's falling off a little bit, but man, it was kind of wild. I'm not going to lie.
All right,
here we go. Let's get into the news and rumors. Hang on a second. Okay. I just saw something pop up from Dov, and it scared me around Renfro, but is what it is. All right, y'all. So coming up here on today's show, we're going to get into the latest here around the Las Vegas Raiders, and then I guess we're going to hop on out of here. I don't think anybody wants to party today, which is all good. Sometimes that's going to happen here on the show. So we're going to get into the latest news and rumors. If y'all want to turn up with the nation, we can do that. If not, I'll say bon voyage, have a good weekend. And obviously, if any breaking news happens over the weekend, hiring an OC, Patrick Graham staying, anything like that, we will end up breaking it all down for you live here on the show. What's up? Maybe. They might end up doing that. That'd be kind of crazy if they did. Okay, ready? Coming up right now, the latest news, rumors around Las Vegas Raiders. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, Patrick Graham. Is he staying in Las Vegas? I'll give you my answer on that. And then the Las Vegas Raiders, they hired some new coaches. I want to break it down a little bit more in depth. If you saw my shorts from the past 24 hours, you probably know who I'm going to talk about. But I just want to go in and give some flowers here to these coaches because I'm telling you right now, the Raiders are doing some really, really good things. So to me, I've said this once, I've said it twice, I've said it 100 times. I love Antonio Pierce. And I know the nation loves AP. They give him a lot of respect. However, though, I believe that it is just as important for the Raiders to keep Patrick Graham as it was for the Raiders to keep Antonio Pierce. Because to me, these guys are together. These guys are a joint package deal. And how good this team was defensively, it is so important for you to be able to keep this coordinator because I don't want the Raiders defense to go back to the way it was. I do not want this Raiders defense to be bad again. I don't want them to have to learn a brand new system again. So to me, I've said this 100 times, and I want y'all to spam PG right now. I don't know if he's going to see this video, but you know what? I know a lot of people will see this, and I believe we had a really good job of getting McDaniels fired. I believe really well that the nation, Mark Davis, heard us when we were spamming higher AP. So let's show some love to PG. If you spammed higher AP, spam PG down below to show our DC some love. Because I'm telling you, I want the Raiders to keep Patrick Graham. This is the first Raiders defense since 2002 to allow less than 20 points per game. If you believe in defense wins championships, if you believe that Super Bowls are won, not because of the offense, but because of a great defense, what the hell are you waiting for then? Because right now, the Raiders have a Super Bowl caliber defense. I know that there's going to be some trolls out there like, that's not true. With AP and Patrick Graham, the Raiders allowed 16 points per game. That was number one in the NFL over that stretch. Were there some backup quarterbacks in it? Yes. However, though, 9 out of 32 starting quarterbacks to begin the year. Only 9 QBs played the entire season. 66 quarterbacks in total. Every single NFL team played against backup QBs. But when you add all of that in with a team built by a clown and Josh McDaniels, and then you think about the fact that they spent the second least amount of money on the defensive side of the football, it just speaks volumes of how well coached, how great Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham were together. And you are crazy if you do not see that. So is Patrick Graham staying? Personally, I think that he is going to end up staying here with the Las Vegas Raiders. And the reason why I'm confident that he's going to end up staying, and the reason why I want him to stay, is because the Raiders blocked PG's defensive coordinator interview. So if you don't know the ins and outs of how the NFL works is you can block lateral moves. So if any NFL team out there were to say, hey, we want to interview Patrick Graham to be our next defensive coordinator, the Raiders can say no, and they block it, which they did, which is a good thing, right? You can't, though, in the NFL, block a move that's considered to be better, head coaching position, nor should you, right? If Antonio Pierce, or if Patrick Graham has the opportunity to get a head coaching job, that betters his life, betters his family. You should support that. That's what good people do. And from what it looks like right now, he has been interviewed. He is a serious contender out there. But the fact that the Raiders blocked the move that they could block screamed to me, we want to keep Patrick Graham. But if another NFL team wants to give him a job, and right now there are 2 head coaching openings, the Washington Commanders and the Seattle Seahawks. Those are the only 2 openings as it stands right now. We have said multiple times on this show that we believe Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, is expected to get hired for the Commanders, which then leaves up the Seattle job. I will admit, the job that has scared me the most about PG leaving has been the Seattle Seahawks. But the reason why I'm confident that he's not going to go anywhere is because, to me, the Seahawks have their guy, Dan Quinn. He's going to have a second interview with the Seattle Seahawks. And to me, the fact that he's getting that second interview, Quinn was there before. He's got a lot of ties to that organization. The fact that Pete Carroll got moved on from when he did, it was a big-time surprise. To me, there's a reason behind that. When big things happen like Pete Carroll getting fired or leaving, fired, that screams they have a plan. To me, that plan is Dan Quinn. So Dan Quinn, going to be the head coach of the Seahawks. Ben Johnson, going to be the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Then Patrick Graham, he's at the intro press conference with Tom Telesco. He's at the intro press conference, obviously, with Antonio Pierce. And if you were watching it, one of the very first things that Antonio Pierce said was like, Patrick Graham, I think it was almost one of those things of him saying, hey, man, shout out to PG for being in the building, but also, like, this is a guy that we want to be around. And I know that Graham could be a head coach. I really do. I believe Patrick Graham is going to get his shot. He deserves it. He's a very good teacher. He's a very smart man. And when you can turn a Raiders defense to what they were just a few years ago to what they are now, he deserves a lot of credit. Yes, Antonio Pierce helped, but Patrick Graham deserves his flowers. He was good last year, turned a good defense to a great defense to an elite defense. When you see that type of progression, that's why he's getting interviews to be a head coach. Patrick Graham is doing a hell of a job, and the fact that he was there yesterday, I absolutely love seeing it. So we're going to give you the last reason here of why I believe that Patrick Graham is going to be back and staying here with the Las Vegas Raiders, because it's the biggest one. But once it's confirmed that LV is keeping PG, I'm going to be going live here on the show. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those notifications turned on, because don't get me wrong, I'll be excited when the Raiders hire an OC because we don't know exactly who that is. And it is expected that PG is going to be staying. But when that becomes officially official, y'all better be ready to party with me and celebrate it, because if you partied for AP, you better damn well party for Patrick Graham as well, because he deserves it, man. He freaking deserves it. The final reason here why I believe that Patrick Graham is ultimately going to end up be staying here with the Las Vegas Raiders, it's because they've already hired 2 coaches on defense, and they're not just like normal hires. To me, when you see up-and-coming coaches, there's a reason why up-and-coming coaches would ultimately join the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? It's because they're going to be working for somebody that they like, that they trust. And I'm going to tell you who those 2 coaches were on defense and why I'm so excited about them hiring. It's not just because I believe it means Patrick Graham staying. It means that good things are coming here for this defense. Really, really good things. But guess what, man? We got a new sponsor, and I'll tell you what right now, I've had a lot of wild sponsors here on the Raiders Report, and this one might be the most crazy, and I'm telling you right now, has anybody ever used the bidet? If you used the bidet before, Jeremy's raising his hand, I've used the bidet as well. If you haven't, it is life-changing. Well, guess what? Today's episode is sponsored by Tushy. In the future, people are going to laugh about how we used to just leave dirty poo-poo in our bee-holes all day. Deep down, we all know that using toilet paper alone leaves nasty and smelly bacteria behind in our butts. Tushy has finally made number 2 cleanup hygienic and better for the environment. You now can have fresh stream of water, the same water as your sink or shower, to clean up your bum after every poop. Tushy's bidets are easy to set up on your any toilet. In under 10 minutes, you can set up your at-home bidet that will change your life forever. I am not even kidding. This product is life-changing, and if we're being honest, it feels pretty good too. Get that fresh out of the shower feeling at hellotushy.com/chat. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off your entire order when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 10% off your order at hellotushy.com/chat. Make sure you use promo code CHAT. It's time to back that ass up with confidence. And I'm just going to be real. I think every single guy out there is like, let's be real here for a second, right? When you think about going to the bathroom, like, there's no way I'm dropping a number 2 after I take a shower. You sit there and you wait.
Back that ass up!
You get that out, and then you go in the shower, and then you got the cleanest bunghole in the entire world, right? It is an unbelievable modern bidet, and I agree with this, where, like, using toilet paper is kind of weird when you really think about it. When you have technology in today's world to be able to do this, and it does feel kind of good. So, hellotushy.com/chat. That link's available to you all down in the comments, down in the description. Chugs and I just got one, and I don't think I'm ever going back. And you know what's also great? One of the little fights that Alex and I used to get into was, there's no toilet paper left. Doesn't happen anymore. We're saving marriages, and that's what I mean. Saving marriages, saving relationships.
And saving buttholes.
Shout out to Tushy. Let's go to the coaches that the Raiders ended up hiring over the past 24 hours, and why I do think it's a reason why that the Raiders are going to end up keeping Patrick Graham. It's because you don't hire coaches like this unless these guys are confident of who they're going to be coaching underneath, and that's going to be PG. So Gerald Alexander, safety coach, now for the Las Vegas Raiders, was hired yesterday. Played in the NFL from 2007 to 2011 in 44 games total. One of the things that I've mentioned before on the show, and it looks like the Raiders are really trying to build a staff that it's not only do they have coaching experience, but but they also have that experience of being a player. And if you're AP, it's going to be one of the things that they're going to be able to build and bring here to the staff, because if you're a dude, and Crosby's talked about it, Devontae Adams has talked about it, when you can sit down with somebody that actually has that experience and has been in your shoes, that can go a very far way. He was the Steelers DB coach the past 2 seasons and helped run the Dolphins DB room. Guys like Xavier Howard, Javon Holland, was able to create a lot of talent in both of those systems with very, very good head coaches underneath them. Gerald Alexander, I'm telling you, is an unbelievable hire. So I actually had a friend, 2 friends, that cover the NFL. They work here at Chat Sports, and they were talking to me about this hire overall. The person who covers the Pittsburgh Steelers said, great teacher, perfect fit with AP. Our Dolphins reporter said this is going to be a low-key hire like Rob Leonard. And for anybody that watched the show, you guys know how much I like Rob Leonard. He's one of the best defensive line coaches in the league. It's a great hire for you guys. So when you consider the fact of, if we can find a Rob Leonard type of coach and you put him in the safety room and you pair that with Marcus Epps, you pair that with Trevon Merrick, a unit that was already very, very good, and then you combine that with Jason Simmons, I'm telling you right now, that secondary is looking really, really strong. I'll tell you who the other coach is here in just a second, but if you don't already know, we're going to be throwing a huge Super Bowl party in Las Vegas. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we're bringing the Raiders Report to all y'all. So if you enjoy watching this show, whether you watch it with your wife, you watch it with your friends, you watch it with your kids, it's kid-friendly. If you are comfortable with your kids watching the Raiders Report on YouTube, guess what? You're going to be okay at the live event as well. Here's the address. Here's the starting time. I will say the venue, from what I understand, holds about 100 people. It will be first come, first serve, so I would say try to get there just a little bit early to ensure that you got a spot. You're going to be able to meet Chuggs and I, and if you're wondering, well, Mitch, what does the venue look like? It's got a full bar. On the one TV that you see on screen, that's going to be showing the Super Bowl, and then there's actually another screen on the left that you can't quite see in the picture. That's actually where you're going to be able to watch the Raiders Report if you just wanted to see what the viewer would see at home. Chuggs and I are going to be where the woman and the stole are going to be. You guys are going to be where the audience is, and there's going to be opportunities for you guys to come up on the show with us, do some beer bongs, take a few shots, get your questions in. We're going to try to make this a very immersive experience, but hey, I get it. You want to go to the thing, you want to go to the Raiders Sport watch party, maybe you want to take your wife out for dinner, you can do that. Joel's Chop House is one of the best steakhouses in all of Las Vegas, and if you're like, you know what, Mitch, I don't really need a steak, but can I get a few drinks before? Yes, you can. They have a wine bar, and it's a social club, also on site at Ahern, and from everything that I've heard, very, very good food, very, very good wine, and the person who's the GM at Joel's Chop House is a diehard Raider fan. He watches the show all the time. So we're going to have special food and drink deals there for the entire nation. Like, you're going to be able to get your own food. You're going to be able to get your own drinks, but I will promise this, we're also going to get you guys a lot of stuff too. Plenty of giveaways. I've been told there's going to be some Raiders players there, so obviously that can always change depending on what happens in their own lives. But opportunities to join the live show. If you love hanging out with Jeremy and I on YouTube, let's kick it up here a little bit of a notch. And if this thing goes well, we're going to be able to go out to Las Vegas every single game next season. I want to take the Raiders Sport to the next level. I'm just being real. I need y'all's help to do it. So please show up. Be ready to have a good time. Super Bowl watch party here on the Raiders Report. All right, let's go to the last coach that the Raiders ended up hiring. His name is Ricky Manning. He is now the cornerback coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. You see a trend here. Played in the NFL from 2003 to 2009. That's 84 games played in total. And he's been an NFL coach since 2016 on some pretty good defensive staffs. He was with Seattle, also with the New York Jets most recently. But here's the thing that I know you guys are going to like. And one of the things that Antonio Pierce said and noted in his press conference was, not every coach is built to be a Raiders coach. Not every coach is built to work here in Las Vegas. Fresno, California native who finished his NFL career with the Raiders, albeit it was on the practice squad. But to me, Ricky Manning has worked with a lot of very, very talented players. And what's funny is actually had somebody reach out to me that knows Ricky Manning personally and that is related to Ashton Davis, safety from Cal, which I know some of y'all were like hitting me up about. Like, oh, should the Raiders draft him a few years ago? Ashton Davis, from what I understand, could be at least a name to keep in mind to potentially join Ricky Manning, join the Las Vegas Raiders. Unfortunately, I forget your name, whoever hit me up on IG, but don't be afraid to hit me up again. That way I can give you your flowers. Anyway, though, could just be a name to keep in mind. We'll throw out there at a potential video, I'm sure. So right now what I'm thinking about this is the Raiders are low-key building a incredible defensive coaching staff. Like, The Las Vegas Raiders last season underneath Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham had the number one defense points per game metric, which I think is a pretty important metric, right? And now you're adding to it even more. Like with Jason Simmons, the two coaches that you just added, on top of Rob Leonard and your entire staff overall, I'm telling you, this Raiders defensive coaching staff is getting better and better, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. Before I end the show, sometimes I like to test you guys to see, all right, who watches the entire video? Well, guess what? Max Crosby was nominated for Defensive Player of the Year. He's a finalist in that, going up against some stiff competition, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, and if I'm being honest with you, I don't think he's going to win. Why? Because the Raiders haven't won enough, and unfortunately, that's just somehow the way it goes, and we know how the NFL feels about the Raiders. So how about this? If you made it this far in the video, and if you think that Max Crosby deserves to be the Defensive Player of the Year, I want you to spam 98 down below, because the identity, what it means to be a Raider, is Max frickin' Crosby. Antonio Pierce said it. I'm saying it right now. Show Mad Max a little bit of love. Spam those 98s. Let's give some shout-outs here to the peeps. Showing some love to the Condor. I got Noel, Raider Rob, Raphael Cloud. What's up, Jesse, Matt Bluehee, Rustin
Maybe I shouldn't
Long.
put this up with the 98s. I'm going to do this.
That's fair.
He wants spam at 98.
Not that one either. Matt Solomon, showing some love.
Yep. I'm just all over the place, Mitch.
New York Raider
There we
fan,
go.
Sienna.
This is the right thing I would need to have on screen.
What's up, OC?
Keep on spamming 98.
What's up, Zach?
And if you've been here the past couple weeks for our Thursday night shows.
Also, Phil Hunt, another one, you in.
For our Thursday shows.
I'm listening.
You know what's about to happen.
Yeah? Almost. We're not quite there yet.
What?
Closing.
No.
Oh. Maybe I'm confused.
We're about to predict who's going to make
Oh, shit. I actually totally forgot about that. Oh, dude, the Super Bowl predictions duck races are elite. Right now we got 10 people in, which means winner would get $250. Winner would get 250 doll hairs.
All right, we're going to do some duck races to kind of show you what
it looks like.
What it looks like.
Yep.
And possibly predict the Super Bowl. Mitch,
Okay.
Are you ready to rumble?
Dude, I'm always ready to rumble.
Do you want to go AFC or NFC first?
What game's actually first in the day?
AFC.
Let's go AFC then.
AFC first? Okay.
Yeah, so again, Chugs and I, we're going to be live for both the AFC and NFC championship game on Sunday. So it's going to be a marathon of a day. I'm telling you that right now. We're going to be rooting for the Ravens. We're going to be rooting for the Lions. And hopefully by the end of it, Lions-Ravens is the outcome. That's the ultimate goal here.
All right.
So we got the AFC championship game. We're going to let the Ducks predict who's going to end up winning this one. You ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
Let's do it. AFC championship, Kansas City Chiefs on the road up against the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know who you got. If you're going to go with Kansas City, type C. If you're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I want you to type R. Let's get this race going here. Winner of this is going to advance to Super Bowl 58. And if anybody wants to hang out with Jeremy Chugs and I, we're going to be out there at the Ahern Hotel. 2 p.m. is the start of our party. Make sure you pull up. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they got a lead right now at halftime, and I'm worried because I feel like I know how this is going to go. Third quarter now rolling up here. The Jackson got the lead, but you can't sleep on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and it looks like Kansas City, son of a gun, is going to get the win. And they're going to advance to Super Bowl 58. Devastating, man. I will say, last week, they were not very accurate. Last week, they weren't very accurate. Chiefs got the win. Chiefs got the win. Be careful. You're poking a bear here. We got our Chiefs host. And we got our Chiefs host here.
Oh, that's right. You weren't in the playoff. I forgot. When was your last game?
Our last game, we beat the Broncos. Also, we beat you guys on Christmas.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm glad you're choosing wins and Super Bowls in regular season. That must be a big win.
3-1, man. That's pretty good.
Oh, man, that's so good. Good luck, by the way.
So they're not going to be able to hear you. All right, everyone got to get FKCs going. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. He just randomly shows up What sucks is it's like, I mean, what do you say to it? You know what I mean? It's like 6 straight AFC champs. Like, that's why I'm like, the Raiders need to get that elite quarterback, or else you're not going to compete. You're not going to compete. All right, here we go. NFC Championship game here on the Raiders Report. NFC Championship game. Lions on the road up against the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got? If you're going to roll with Jared Goff and the Lions, get those L's in. If you're going to go with Brock Purdy and the Niners, type those 4s. Game time. Let's get it going. 30 seconds on the clock. For those that do not know, we are going to be in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl at the Ahern Hotel. If you're wondering what time, 2 p.m. Pacific time is when it's going to end up going down. Lions got the lead at halftime. We're getting close here to the third quarter. Is Jared Goff going to be able to hold off Brock Purdy? Fourth quarter of action here. The Ducks are gone. I don't know who's it going to be. Is Dan Campbell going to have enough? I think he is. The Lions get the dub, and they're advancing to the Super Bowl. Let's go, Detroit. We needed that one. Oh, dude. So, according to the Ducks, Lions, Chiefs, Super Bowl. Well, it's probably going to be Niners, Ravens, right? Because the whole logo debate, which I don't know if you've seen that. The logo conspiracy? The logo conspiracy is kind of wild. Yep. It's kind of nuts, man. It's kind of nuts. Oh, man. All right, y'all. Final call for a chance to get in the duck race here. Jason Martinez. You in. So now we are up to, winner would get $275. I think I got another one on there for Phil. And then I'm going to, go over here. Jason Martinez. Got it. Remember, y'all, we are doing a fund to get Marshall to go to Vegas to race Rebel in a boot race. And then we're going to be able to give this boot away here as a fun little giveaway prize to all of the nation. So, all right, man. Final call. Final call to get in. And if you want Chugs and I to stay live, let's turn up here a little bit. Let's get a little bit wet and wild here on the show. If you guys are ready to get down. Wild and wet. And that was actually a Wild One's name in high school. Wild and Wet 14, for those that don't know. Fun little fact there. All right, I think let's do it. Let's go. Duck race time. Jeremy, I'm going to send you the list of names. Let me send you the list of names here. We got 11 people. I'm curious, though, what you're going to roll with here. What type of race should we go with? I don't know. Oh, you already have it? Is it something that's real or fake? All right, so it's something real. Would you find it in a zoo? 11 names. It's $275 is the winner. Justin Walker says, put me in. Winner now gets 300 doll hairs. You wouldn't find it in a zoo. Would you find it in a home? A huge home. Justin Walker, you in. Actually, Justin asked for $50. So we probably shouldn't put Justin in. Justin, if you want in, it's 50 to me, not request 50. It's a good try. If you didn't mean to do it, all good. If you did, kind of a slimy move. Justine Gonzalez in. And then Luis Rodriguez, you in. All right, so let me backtrack this a little bit here. I'm going to take Justin Walker out. Justine Gonzalez in. And then Luis Rodriguez, you in. So that means what? How many are we at? Now we're at 13. So winner gets 325. Winner gets 325. All right, final call here. Luis says, I am in, Mitch. That is correct. Have to be a big house, not in a zoo. You said real animal? Or not a real animal? Like, is it real? You said yes. Real thing. And it's an animal. No, it's not an animal. A rocket ship. A car? He said a big one. Hot air balloon. UFO. All right, I give up. I give up. I do not know. Wait a minute. Did I miss one here? No, I got Alonzo Crawford. Fluhey. All right, so Fluhey, this is what we'll do. We'll do 200 Venmo boot race, and then I'll give you an extra. We'll give him an extra name in the race. We'll give you an extra name in the race then, Fluhey. Fluhey's trying to turn up, man. I'll tell you this. If this happens, this show is liable to get wet and wild. This show is liable to get a little wet and wild. And I'll tell you what. I really, really thought that nobody was going to catch Abjin. Fluhey's getting close, man. I'm going to say, I'll do the math after the show. I think Fluhey's like, if he sends this in, he'll be like 4 or 5 away from Abjin. That would be nuts. Alfredo, you in. Alfredo, you in. Yes, Amy is in. Alfredo in. Okay. You ready? Let's do this. Let's freaking do this, man. Let's freaking do this. OC Raider says Avjin is a madman. I am more than aware. I am more than aware. Right here, let me do... I got Luis. Okay, Alfredo, I got to add you on here. Alfredo, you in. And then... Jeremy, if you had the... I don't know. All right. I'm going to send you a message here. I'll look at it then. All right. Yeah, Zon, I'll call you after the show. I see you're having some issues here, so I'll try to figure it out to the best of my ability. I'll talk to our team here, and then we'll get it going. But I'll call you after the show. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Maybe just in the future, Zon, just Venmo might be the easiest thing then, so that doesn't happen again. I'm sorry that happened. That's really shitty. Okay. I just sent you something. If you could check that out for me. I know. No, I know. Zon's important. It is exactly that. Mafluhi! Bang! What's up, Fluhy? If you don't spam Matt Fluhy, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here if you don't spam Fluhy. He might, man. He's up there. Matt Fluhy's up there. Fluhy's won, I'm going to say, $1,500 in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I would say show him. He'd probably have more success with it. But, all right, boot race. Or you going to do it after? We'll do it after? All right, we're going to do it after. You're in trouble? Yeah, break a urinal. The whole thing. Yikes. Shout out to Fluhy, man. Aggressive Master Raider. What's up, Fifth? 310 Dixon Cider. Raider Rob, I see you. Phil Hunt, I see you. Okay. Coming up here on the show, duck race time. Now I get it. How many people are in? I also add Fluhy. Did you add Fluhy again? Okay, so winner gets, how many is this? I just want to confirm. Winner gets $350. Okay, winner gets $350. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Rebel Montana was in the building. What's up, Rebel? I don't know if Rebel's still here. I don't know. I know what I said, guys. Dixon. I know. Ready? Winner gets $350. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I don't know if we've ever done a plane race before. We got Martinez here out to a lead. Phil Hunt's in a very interesting spot. Justine Gonzalez right now with the lead. Jasper Barber down below. Watch out for Amy. Watch out for Amy. Matt Fluhy again. There's a lot of Fluhys here. Rebel, what we're doing is we're doing a fundraiser to get Marshall to Vegas to boot race you. So you better be there, man. You better be there. We got Rosario in the lead right now. Winner gets $350. I'll tell you what, I like this one a lot. Phil Hunt, Luis Rodriguez, Rosario. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on. I'm watching out back there for Mr. Crawford, Jose Delgado, Fluhy. Who's this? Anthony Green. Is it going to be Anthony Green? I don't know. Oh, my God. Is Fluhy about to win again? No, it's going to be Anthony Green. And he's got a winner. A winner. Chicken dinner. I put Alfredo's name in there. Did you? If not, Alfredo, I can send you the money back. I don't know if you did. All right, Alfredo, I'm going to send your money back. That's on us. You can throw your tomatoes at Chugs. Oh, good. Alfredo, that's on me. Just confirm that you received it. So good news here. Phil, you get a Tushy pick. So congratulations on that. And then Anthony Green, who it's kind of crazy because Green did not win for the longest time. And he won the other day. He won $60, and now he just won $350. Congrats. Sent. All right, y'all. Alfredo, that's on me. We were reading some stuff back here with technology. Zahn sent us a message, and I just wanted to make sure we were looking at that message, and I missed it. So that's on me. But he got it. Cool. It's on me. Alfredo, I'll make you a deal. 50 beer bong on the house. Boot time. Here you go. I want a Hap Dad. Give me a Hap Dad. Let's get it going. Rebel Montana boot race. Yeah, Chugs and I are going to boot race. Fluhy tries to turn this party up here, man. Christy, I see you down there in the chat. Who's still riding with us here? And is anybody going to be out in Vegas for the Super Bowl? Who do you want the Raiders to hire as their OC? A lot of conversations that are going to be had over the last, I'll say, few days or so. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. What's up, Mr. Raspberry? Ivan says, I am, bro. I'm excited. What's up, Christy? Raider Trav here. Who's here? Phil. Darth. Oh, dude, Darth. What I love about meeting up with people in out in Vegas, just in general in person, just amazing like how you get to know people based off of an icon. Like, I feel like I know who Ron Raspberry is, and I just know him as a pink R. Right? Like, when you actually get to put a face to it, it's pretty freaking sick. All right. Marshall got a 10-second head start, so I feel like I should get a 10-second head start. I think it's fair. Raiders report in Spanish. That would be nuts. A Raiders report in Spanish would be insane. Though there is technology to make it happen in today's world. There is enough technology. Can we get to the show from Dustin Daniels? I don't know, Dustin, what you mean exactly. Can you get to the show in Vegas? Yes, we're going to be there live. If you mean like the show in general, we've been live for almost 2.5 hours. So, Anthony Green, thanks, guys. This pays the rent. The rest of my rent. That's awesome. That's sick, man. Okay.
I'm getting a chop today. Right after this, I'm cutting it, and I'm going to my barber because he gets off at 7. Well, they close at 7.
Uh-oh.
But
You got to hurry up then.
yeah, dude. This is bad.
Ooh, boy. All right, 10-second head start. Ready? Shit. He's just too good, man. Oh. That one hurt, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I couldn't get through the bubble. The tickling. Hang on, I got a lot of burps coming up. Justine, very sad. I know, Chef. I know. That was nuts. All right, y'all. We got to get on out of here. Whew, man. Appreciate everyone for tuning into the Raiders Report. The next time that I'm going to be live is on Sunday. That boot has hit me right away. Next time I'm going to be live is on Sunday for the NFC and AFC championship game. Then, on top of all of that, more content on Monday and Tuesday. If the Raiders end up hiring an OC, if the Raiders officially announce that PG is back, I will be back live on this show. Sound good? Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see all of y'all later.